Ladies and gentlemen, lend me your ears and your eyes. Diva Divine Light, live from Brooklyn, New York.
With no delaying for what you saying, yo. Silly with my 9 million with the dilly, yo. When I be on the mic, yes, I do my duty, yo. While I'm in the club, I be while in the studio. You don't wanna violate, nigga, really and truly, yo. My main thug nigga named Julio, he moody, yo. Like a nigga that'll slap me with the tulio. Bitch nigga scared to death, act fruity, yo. Fuck that, look at shorty, she a little cutie, yo. The way you shake it, make me wanna get all in the booty, yo. With no delaying for what you saying, yo.
Diva Divine Light.
Really my heart to me. Fuck me, see just what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in a place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see just what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in a place to be. If you.
You're watching Diva, the Divine Light. A fun-loving, caring, passionate person who talks about sex, celebrity, and real-life issues, and even abuse. So hit that like button and make sure you share the show.
Really my heart to me. Fuck me, see just what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in a place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see just what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in a place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see just what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in a place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see just what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in a place to be. If you.
Here comes the pitch, and it comes in wide. On the double.
Yo, 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 yo. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. What's up, my loves that are in the chat? Hey, love is fair. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Noonie. Good afternoon, my sisters, and my brother. Wings. Bev Davis. What's up, Bev? Hey, Damien. What's up, Papito? My bros are in the building. My sisters in the building. What's good, everybody? Good afternoon. My back is bothering me a little bit, but other than that, I'm okay today. Thank God I'm alive. Hey, Indigo. Hi, Mommy. So, we're going to talk about Don Russell. As we all know, Don Russell's trial in the Southern District of New York starts July 18th. I believe it's 10:30 a.m. Don't quote me on the hour, but definitely July 18th. And it's in the Southern District of New York. So it's in the other federal court building in Manhattan, New York City. It's not in Brooklyn. So there has been a lot of things that was entered. We were so distracted with what was going on with R. Kelly that we just we missed this one. So on June 27th, last month, his lawyer Michael Friedman entered multiple motions. And the last motion that was put in was for a notice, and it was put in yesterday. I posted the information on my community wall. Good morning, Sharice. Good morning. Good afternoon, ladies. Hey, what's up, T baby? Hey, my love. Okay, do you think, baby? So, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. So, the next couple of days, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to read off these motions that have been coming in before his trial starts on the 18th. He has a pretrial conference on the 15th of July, and that will be before his trial. Okay. So I'm letting you guys know the info. Hey, Queen. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. For those who are in the bushes, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon start. You're the ninth? What do you mean you're the ninth? Wait, he said, I'm the ninth. Like, which one are you? Wait, Damien, did I miss a question? Wait, hold on. Hi, Diva family. I'll be listening. You said you're the ninth. What you mean by that, Damien? I'm the ninth. Like, which one are you? What? Did I miss something? Like I'm the video, laugh out loud. Talking about getting the likes up. Oh, thank you, baby. Thank you. Yes, please. Thank you, Damien. Please get those likes up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Girl. Yeah, exactly. Yes, yes, it's for the likes. That's right. Get them up, y'all. He say, I'm the ninth like. Got it. Which one are you? Okay. Thank you, Papi. I didn't get it. I'm like, huh? What? What was that? I love you guys. Y'all keep me on my toes. You know that, right? Y'all crazy bunch, but I love y'all. Hey, Mom Life. What's up, baby? What's up, Queen? Good morning, everybody. So, as I said, I'm going to start reading out the documents that were poured out on the 27th of June. Okay. And this first one, let me share my screen. Okay. Like I said, this first one came out yesterday. Okay. So I'm going to just read this one real quick and then we're going to get into the next document. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now, my phone is completely dead. So it is being charged. So once I start reading this document, I will not be able to pay attention to the chat. So, guys, you already know, hold it down. I don't mind questions if they're, questions without being disrespectful questions. You know what I mean? If they come through, let them come through. It's okay to have a dialogue with the other side. We don't need to block them right away. Deal with them a little bit. If they start getting crazy, then you just time them out. Let them sit down. If they get real nasty, then you block them. Time them out as a warning. The next strike is a block. All right? All right, y'all. Hey, West Coast. Hello, baby girl. Good morning for you. Okay, so let's get into it because after we get into this, I want to share a interview that he did. Okay. So as I said, this is document number 59, which was the last document entered um, on July 7th. Okay. And it's the United States of America against Donnell Russell. He's the defendant. The docket number itself, the case number is 20 CR 538 PGG. Paul G. Gardeffi. He's the United States District Judge. So this is the judge that's handling the case. The final pretrial conference. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Guys, give me a moment. A quick little emergency rose. Please just give me a second, guys. Hang on. Thank you. So sorry, guys. I am back. Sorry about that. Whew. I was just helping my mom put up a swing in the backyard, so she needed me real quick. So, all right. So now the swing is hanging from the tree. Now we have a hammock swing, a hammock swinging from the tree now in our backyard. It's so cute. So, yeah. All right. Whew. Wow. That took a lot out of me. I had to help my mom. So, forgive me, guys. Let me say hello to everyone who just walked into the building. Who walked in here? Let's see. Hey, Tay Weezy. What's up? What's up? What's up? The champ is here. Hey, Carol's Tears. What's up, mama? Ruby, Pettyville, Just V, my freaka leak. What's up? Thank you. Yes, please make sure you hit that like button. Thank you, guys. All right, let's get back into this paperwork. Okay. So as I was saying, he is scheduled for a pretrial conference. Okay. The one that was for July 12th has been adjourned to Friday, July 15th at 11 a.m. in the courtroom 705 of the Thurgood Marshall United States Courthouse at 40 Foley Square, New York, New York. All right. So that was put in. So we know that he has a pretrial conference next week, Friday. Okay. Now, this was the document that was filed on June 27th. So every other document that I'm going to read forward going on in the next few days came out on June 27th. Okay? It's crazy how his lawyer just threw in all these motions in the same day. All of them in the same day. This one that I'm going to read is 14 pages long. So we got one that's like 14 pages. The next one is 46 pages. Now, the next one, I definitely could use a reader with me, to give me a break in between. 40 pages, only 40 pages, but damn, I got to have a break in between that. So for the next document, I will definitely need a reader. Also, the following one is 30 pages. And the next one after that is 58 pages. So those documents that are that long, I will definitely need someone to just come and help me out and give me a break in between. All right. So now let me take that first document out. We already read that because I have multiple documents up here. I have about approximately 17 documents that came out. 17 documents, guys. So his trial starts on the 18th. So for the next few days, we're going to focus on Don Russell and what's going on with Don Russell's case. Okay? Sounds great? Sounds great. All right. So now, in this document, as we know, it's for the Southern District of New York. And it's for Donnell Russell versus the United States of America. Okay, Don's the defendant. And this particular document is the government's proposed examination of prospective jurors. And Damian Williams is the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Okay. And in here is the proposed examination of prospective jurors. Pursuant to Rule 24A of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, the government respectfully requests that the court include the following questions in its examination of prospective jurors. The court is requested to pursue more detailed questioning if a particular juror's answer reveals that further inquiry is appropriate, and in such an instance, to conclude with an inquiry into whether the particular fact or circumstance would influence the juror in favor of or against either the government or the defendant, or otherwise affect the juror's ability to serve as a fair and impartial juror in this case. Now we're going to go into the charges. Now let's just refresh our memory as to what's going on with his charges in the Southern District of New York. Because if you remember, he has two cases, one in the Southern District and one in the Eastern District. Okay? And guys, we are going to actually get to see some evidence in here, some exhibits. Yes. I was checking out all the documents, kind of like breezed through all of them. So now the charges. This is a criminal case. The defendant, Donnell Russell, has been charged in an indictment returned by a grand jury sitting in this district with violating federal laws. The indictment is not evidence. It simply contains the charges that the government is required to prove to the satisfaction of the trial jury beyond a reasonable doubt. So remember, guys, an indictment is just a bunch of allegations that need to be proven in the court of law. Okay? 2, those of you who are selected to sit on this jury will receive a detailed explanation of the charges at the conclusion of the case. But I will briefly summarize the charges in this case. Now, in order to determine whether there is anything about the nature of this case that may make it difficult or inappropriate for you to serve on the jury. 3, the indictment contains 2 counts of charges, 2 counts or charges that you are going to consider. Count 1, charges that on or about December 4th of 2018, the defendant conspired with others to transmit a threatening communication in interstate commerce, specifically to place an interstate telephone call to threaten physical harm to those attending a December 4th, 2018 screening of the documentary series entitled Surviving R. Kelly at a venue in New York, New York, called Newhouse Madison Square. Count 2, charges that on or about December 4th of 2018, the defendant transmitted a threatening communication in interstate commerce. Specifically, the defendant placed an interstate telephone call to threaten physical harm to those attending a December 4th, 2018 screening of the documentary series entitled Surviving R. Kelly at a venue in New York, New York, called Newhouse Madison Square. 4, we are about to select from among you the jurors who will sit in this case. Both sides are entitled to know something about the people who sit as jurors. The law provides this procedure to ensure that both the government and the defendant receive the fairest possible trial. For this reason, I am going to ask you certain questions. They are not meant to embarrass you in any way, but only to elicit the basic information necessary to permit the parties and the court to make an informed choice of jurors for the case. Number 5, with that in mind, do you have any personal knowledge of the facts or the charges in this case as I have described them to you? Have you heard or read anything about this case or the defendant? If so, Is there anything you read or heard that would cause you to feel that you cannot be fair and impartial? If so, we respectfully request that the court speak with the prospective juror privately to find out what they read and ask them if it would cause them to feel that they cannot decide the case fairly and impartially. 6. Do any of you feel, for any reason, that you could not view a case involving the charges as I described in a fair and impartial manner? Number 7, as I stated, the charges in this case involve alleged violations of a law prohibiting the making of interstate threats to injure or physically harm another person. Is there anything about the nature of these charges that would cause you to be unable to render a fair and impartial verdict in this case? Number 8, do you have any opinion about the enforcement of federal laws that might prevent you from being fair and impartial in this case? Do you believe that the crimes charged in the indictment, as I have described them to you, should not be illegal, or that such laws should not be enforced? Do you have any opinions or beliefs about the enforcement of these or other federal laws that might prevent you from being fair and impartial in this case? Number 9, this case involves and or may reference Robert Sylvester Kelly, better known as R. Kelly. Do you have any opinion about R. Kelly that might prevent you from being fair and impartial in this case? Number 10, have you watched or heard any interviews of R. Kelly or any TV shows featuring him or any specials or documentaries about him? Would that prevent you from being fair and impartial in this case? Have you or a friend or family member ever been accused of sexual harassment, sexual abuse, or sexual assault? Would that prevent you from being fair and impartial in this case? So this is the jury charges, right? In other words, these are the questions that are going to be asked to the jurors before they get picked, right? So this is part of the jury questionnaire and the charges. Number 12, have you or a friend or family member ever been the victim of sexual harassment, sexual abuse, or sexual assault? Would that prevent you from being fair and impartial in this case? Number 13, do you have a problem with your hearing or vision that would prevent you from giving attention to all of the evidence at this trial? Number 14, do you have any difficulty understanding or reading English? 15, do you have any special medical problems or take any medications that might interfere with your service as a juror in this case? Number 16, do you have any religious or ethical beliefs that would prevent you from passing judgment on another person? Number 17, after the jury is selected, we will begin opening statements and then the presentation of evidence. The trial in this case should last approximately 1 week. Okay, so that's good to know. So his trial is going to only last for about a week, guys. It's not that big of a case. There's not a lot to really present, but to present what they need to present, which is about proving beyond a reasonable doubt that he did these forces, these threats through interstate commerce, from one state to the other, from one city to the other, things like that. So number 17, after the jury is selected, we will begin opening statements and then present the evidence. And the trial in this case should last approximately 1 week. Is there any juror from whom the proposed trial schedule presents an insurmountable problem, one that would make it truly impossible for the juror to serve. The parties, witnesses, and locations. Number 18. The government is represented here by the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, who is Damian Williams. The conduct of the trial will be in the immediate charge of Assistant United States Attorneys Peter Davis and Lara Pomerantz. They will be assisted by Special Agent Margaret Gerard of the Federal Bureau of Investigations and by Victoria Bosha and Julia Gutierrez. They are paralegals in the United States Attorney's Office. Do you know or have you had any dealings, either directly or indirectly, with any of these individuals? Number 19. As I stated, the defendant in this case is Donnell Russell. Do you know or have you had any dealings, either directly or indirectly, with the defendant or with any relative, friend, or associate of the defendant? Number 20. Mr. Russell is represented by Michael Friedman. Do you know or have you had any dealings, either directly or indirectly, with Mr. Friedman? Number 21. I will now read a list of names of individuals who may be mentioned during the trial or who may be witnesses in this case. And the names were to be supplied. They're not telling us the names. So, do any of you know any of these people? Have you had any dealings, directly or indirectly, with any of these individuals? To your knowledge, have any of your relatives, friends, or associates had any dealings with any of these individuals? 22. Events in this case took place at the following locations, and lists is to be supplied. Are any of you particularly familiar with any of those locations? Number 23. Do you or your relatives or close friends work in law enforcement, the justice system, the courts, or any correctional institution, jail, or penitentiary? And in what capacity? And has any of you had any contact with anyone in law enforcement, the justice system, or the courts that might influence your ability to evaluate this case? Number 24. Have you, either through any experience you have had or anything you have seen or read, developed any bias or prejudice or other feelings for or against the United States Department of Justice, the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, or the Federal Bureau of Investigations? Number 25. Do you or any of your relatives or close friends work for a criminal defense lawyer or a private investigator? Now, next they're going to talk about prior to the jury service. Number 26. Have you ever served as a juror in a trial in any court? If so, in what court did you serve? And was it civil or criminal case? What type of case was it? Without telling us what the verdict was, did the jury reach a verdict? 27. Have you ever at any time served as a member of a grand jury, whether in federal, state, county, or city court? If so, when and where? Number 28. For those of you who have described prior jury service, is there anything about your prior experiences as a juror that would prevent you from acting as a fair and impartial juror in this case? Next, they're going to ask questions about experience as a witness or defendant or a crime victim. Number 29. Have you or has any relative or close friend ever participated in a state or federal court case, whether criminal or civil, as a witness, plaintiff, or defendant? If so, what kind of case? And what was your role in that case? And if so, is there anything about that experience that would prevent you from acting as a fair and impartial juror in this case? Number 30. Have you or any relative or close friend ever been involved or appeared as a witness in any investigation by a federal or state grand jury or by a congressional or state legislative committee, licensing authority, or governmental agency, or been questioned in any matter by any federal, state, or local law enforcement agency? If so, is there anything about that experience that would prevent you from acting as a fair and impartial juror in the case? Number 31, have you or has any relative or close friend ever been subpoenaed for any inquiry or investigation? If so, is there anything about that experience that would prevent you from acting as a fair and impartial juror in this case? Number 32, have you or has any relative or close friend ever been arrested or charged with a crime? If so, is there anything about that experience that would prevent you from acting as a fair and impartial juror in this case? Again, if you would prefer not to give your answer in open court, please say so. 33, have you or has any relative or close friend ever been the subject of any investigation or accusation by any grand jury, state or federal, or any other investigation? If so, is there anything about the experience that would prevent you from acting as a fair and impartial juror in this case? 34, has any juror or any of your relatives or close friends ever been a victim of a crime? If you would feel uncomfortable answering this question in open court, please say so and we can follow up at the sidebar. If you answer yes, please describe the circumstances, including the type of crime, when it happened, and the outcome of any law enforcement action. Is there anything about the experience that could affect your ability to be fair and impartial in this case? Number 35, have you or has any member of your family or any of your close friends, either as individuals or in the course of their business affairs, ever been a party to a legal action or dispute with the United States or with any of the officers, departments, agencies, or employees of the United States, including the United States Attorney's Office or the FBI or the NYPD? Have any of you had any legal, financial, or other interest in any such legal action or dispute or its outcome? Have you or has any member of your family ever had such a dispute concerning money owed to you by the government or owed by you to the government? If so, is there anything about that experience that prevent you from acting as a fair and impartial juror in this case? Views on certain witnesses, investigative techniques, and evidence. So these are the next questions that they're going to ask. Number 36. The witnesses in this case will include law enforcement witnesses. A law enforcement witness's testimony is not to be given any more or less weight than testimony of any other witness. Now, would any of you be more likely to believe a witness merely because he or she is a member of a law enforcement agency? Would any of you be less likely to believe a witness merely because he or she is a member of a law enforcement agency? Number 37. Some of the evidence admitted at trial may come from searches performed by law enforcement officers. The court will instruct you that those searches were legal and that the evidence obtained from those searches is admissible in this case. Do you have any feelings or opinions about searches conducted by law enforcement officers or the use of evidence obtained from searches that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial in this case? 38. Some of the evidence in this trial may come in the form of social media messages and videos sent and posted by the defendant and others over the internet. I also instruct you that this type of evidence does not violate the rights of the defendant, and it is perfectly proper for this type of evidence to be introduced at trial for your consideration. So, with that in mind, do you have any feelings about the use of such online communications that would make it difficult for you to consider such evidence fairly and impartially at trial? Number 39. You also may hear testimony in this case from expert witnesses. Have any of you had any experiences with experts? Or do you have any general feelings about the use of experts that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial in this case? All right, guys. I'm going to have to start over again. My microphone was out, y'all. I'm going to start over, guys. Do you guys remember what number you guys did hear it from before I went out? Tell me it was the whole thing because I'm going to be pissed off. Let me see. All right. Guys, do you guys hear me? Give me one in the chat if y'all hear me, please. What was the last thing you guys heard? Please tell me. Somebody tell me what was the last thing y'all heard. $406-0066. What? Major. What's up, Major? What's up, puppy? Yo. Just the T. What's up, lady? What's up, Les Smith? What's up, T Bam? James. What's up, James? Okay, so you can hear me now. All right. Question. What was around 39? Are you kidding me, T Bam? What the fuck? Because what happened was my knee hit the wire and it pulled down my wire and I didn't realize my wire was out. So, yeah, that's fucked up. I hit the wire and it pulled it out. So I'm glad I'm back on. Y'all hear me? Everything's good. Around 39. Maldita sea. Are you kidding me? I read to like 49. Really? Oh, no. Do over. And then my phone is dead, so it's charging. So if y'all was calling me, it was just ringing without being picked up. Ay, Dios mío. Okay. What's up, baby? Yep, no, 39 was the last thing. Okay, so I'm going to go back, guys. Shh, darn it, hey. Ay, Dios mío. No me diga de verdad. Okay. Shit. All right, 39. All right, so I'm going to go from here, y'all. I'm going to read this question again. All right, question number 39. You also may hear testimony in this case from expert witnesses. Have any of you had any experiences with experts, or do you have any general feelings about the use of experts that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial in this case? Does anyone have any expectations about the types of evidence that the government should or will present in this criminal trial, or in a criminal trial more generally? Number 41. Would any of you be unable to follow my instructions that the government is not required to use any particular investigative technique uncovering evidence of or prosecuting a crime? You may hear evidence in this trial of criminal activity committed by people other than the defendant. The defendant is charged with acting with others in the commission of the charged crimes. So those other individuals are not on trial here. You may not draw an inference favorable or unfavorable toward the government or the defendant from that fact. You may also not speculate as to the reason why other persons are not on trial. Is there anyone who cannot follow this instruction or who for this reason could have difficulty rendering a fair and impartial verdict? The next questions will be about the function of the court and the jury. So number 43. The function of the jury is to decide questions of fact. So you are the sole judges of the facts, and nothing that the court or the lawyers say or do may encroach in any way on your role as the exclusive fact finders. However, when it comes to the law, you must take your instructions from the court, and you are bound by those instructions. You may not substitute your notions of what the law is or what you think it should be. At the conclusion of this case, your job will be to determine whether or not the defendant is guilty as charged in the indictment. Does any juror have any difficulty with that principle or any problem in accepting and following the instruction of the law that I will give you in this case? Number 44. Will each juror accept the proposition that the question of punishment is for the court alone to decide, and that the possible punishment must not enter into the deliberation of the jurors as to whether the defendant on trial here is guilty? 45. Will each of you accept the proposition that sympathy or empathy must not enter into the deliberations of the jurors as to whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty, and that only the evidence presented here in court may be used by you to determine whether the defendant is guilty or not guilty of the crimes charged? 46. It is not a particularly pleasant duty to find another individual guilty of committing a crime. Is there any juror who feels that even if the evidence established a defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, he or she might not be able to render a guilty verdict for reasons unrelated to the law and the evidence? Does any juror have any religious, philosophical, or other beliefs that would make you unable to render a guilty verdict in a criminal case? Number 48. I have tried to direct your attention in these questions, and through the questionnaire you filled out, to possible reasons why you might not be able to sit as a fair and impartial juror. Apart from any prior question, does any juror have the slightest doubt in his or her mind, for any reason whatsoever, that he or she will be able to serve consciously, fairly, and impartially in this case, and to render a true and just verdict without fear, favor, sympathy, or prejudice, and according to the law as it will be explained? If you are chosen to serve as a juror in this case, the court will order you not to read, listen to, or watch any accounts of this case reported on television, the radio, or over the internet or social media. Jurors are also not allowed to do any research regarding this case, whether over the internet, on social media, or in any other manner. The case must be decided solely on the basis of the evidence presented in the courtroom. Would you have any difficulty following these rules, which are binded on every juror? No, sir, I don't have no difficulties. None at all. None at all. Let's get this case going. Now, it says here, questions for individual jurors. Number 50, question number 50. It states here, it says, the government respectfully requests that the court asks each juror to provide the following information. So the jurors are going to have to tell the age. So it says they're going to ask the juror's age, the neighborhood in which the juror resides, and any other area the juror has resided during the last 10 years, the educational background of the juror, including the highest degree obtained, the juror's occupation, the name and general location of the juror's employer, and the period of employment with that employer, the same information concerning other employment within the last 5 years, the same employment information with respect to the juror's significant other, and any working children or a member of the juror's household. Newspapers, magazines, television media, podcasts, and internet news sources the juror reads and how often. They also want to know the websites that the juror reads and or post comments or information on. They also want to know the television shows that the juror typically watches and or radio programs that the juror regularly listens to. They also want to know the juror's hobbies and leisure time activities and whether the juror is a member of any clubs or organizations. Next, and I guess finally, um, they're going to talk about the requested instruction following and paneling of the jury. So, from this point on, until you retire to deliberate on your verdict, it is your duty not to discuss this case and not to remain in the presence of other people who may be discussing this case. This rule about not discussing the case with others includes discussions even with members of your own family and your friends. It also extends to any postings that you may make to social media. And I instruct you now that you are not to use Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, a personal blog, or any other form of social media to posting anything related to this trial until after you have returned a verdict. If at any time during the course of this trial, any person attempts to talk to you or to communicate with you about this case, either in or out of the courthouse, you should immediately report such an attempt to me through my deputy clerk. In this regard, let me explain to you that the attorneys and the defendants in a case are not supposed to talk to jurors, even to offer a friendly greeting. So, if you happen to see any of them outside this courtroom, they will and should ignore you. So please do not take offense. They will only be acting properly and pursuant to the court's instructions by doing so. Number 53 is going to state a case law that says, per the suggestion of the Court of Appeals in the United States versus Guinness, vacated on other grounds, I know that many of you use cell phones, Blackberries, the internet, and other tools of technology. You also must not talk to anyone about this case or use these tools to communicate electronically with anyone about this case. This includes your family and friends. You may not communicate with anyone about the case on your cell phone, iPhone, Blackberry, text messaging, email, social media websites, or applications, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, blogs, websites, internet chat rooms, or by other means. Finally, if anything should happen involving any of you that is of an unusual nature or that you think is something the court should be told about, please do not discuss it with any other juror. Simply give my clerk a note to the effect that you want to speak to me about it, and I can then hear what it is and what you have to say. I make these remarks without expecting anything unusual or improper to happen. It is just safer to take the precaution of alerting you in advance. And this was dated June 27th of 2022, respectfully submitted by Damian Williams, who is the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Okay? And it was by Peter, Lara, the Assistant United States Attorneys. Okay? So there goes that one. Now, let me go to the other side. Like I said, this next paperwork is pretty long. I've been on for about an hour. Yeah, they still make blackberries. Girl, they sure do. I believe they do. Yep, some people still do have blackberries. I don't know if they make them, but people still have them. I know a couple people that do. So that's the instructions going out from the government to the jurors. Okay. Now, I'm going to play an interview while I'm in the background. So I'm going to let this run and I'm going to end this live with this live interview with Don Russell and Trent. I'm going to put his video in the chat here, guys. Please go follow. Okay. Please go follow his channel and like the video, share and subscribe. Shout out to you, Trent. The name of his channel is called Opinionated News Network. Is that the one I have it on here? Yes. Opinionated News Network GED level. That's the name of his channel, guys. So if you guys please do me a favor, go leave a comment under the video if you would like to. Please make sure you go and hit that like button on the video and subscribe to the channel. And shout out to you, Trent, for a great interview. And thank you for letting me use your content, which just to inform the people, for those who have not seen this video, and for those who want to refresh our memory as to who Don Russell is and who he represents and how he represented himself on these YouTube streets. Okay. Thank you for that. And one other thing, guys, I want to remind you, as you can see, it's scrolling under the screen. On the screen here, I have something scrolling, and it is to remind you guys about the transcripts for the next trial in Chicago. I only have $157 so far, guys. So we need to get that up a little bit so we can get some content and get those transcripts of the trial. I want to do what we did last time. So if you can, let's hook it up so that, across the board, we can all try to put our money together and get the transcripts like we did with his Eastern District of New York trial. I would like to do that with the Chicago trial as well. So, guys, if you don't know, you see my name here and the title. It has a $ Diva Divine Light. That is my Cash App. Okay. For those who don't know the Cash App, you can hit the Cash App. It's $ Diva Divine Light. And it's exactly spelled the way you see it here, with a capital D, a capital D, and a capital L, and everything in between is lowercase. Okay, you will see my picture. You will know it's me. It's the same exact picture I have on my screen. Okay. Yes, I also have PayPal as well, honey. My PayPal is the same, Diva Divine Light. It's the same exact thing. You can also send me a PayPal. You can do that as well for those who don't have Cash App and you want to donate. Yes, you can hit my PayPal. It's PayPal me / Diva Divine Light. And it's spelled exactly the way it's spelled here, with a capital D, with another capital D, and then the capital L, lowercase letters in between. I also have Zelle. You can Zelle me too and put in the for section as well. You can put that this is for the transcripts. In the PayPal, please say this is for the transcripts. If it's for me, you don't have to say anything. It's for me, But if it's for the transcripts, please be specific in the for portion, the text portion, and say that this is for the transcripts so I can put it in my savings account. Okay? So far, we have collected $157. I've collected $107 and I contributed $50 myself. Okay? So we're gonna do that, all right, guys? So I'm just reminding you, please don't forget his trial starts August 15th. I honestly think that they're probably gonna move it maybe to the end of the month. Okay, because something is going on where they have to put in stuff by the 15th as well. So I don't know how that's gonna go, or unless they're gonna discuss the motions the day of the trial and like get that out the way first and then start the trial, go into it. I don't know. Judge Lennon Weber he rules his court how he runs his court. Like he's I don't even know how to describe his skills. Okay. Thank you, T-Bam. Thank you, mamita. Thank you, mamita. Thank you, baby. Yes, yes. What T-Bam put here, I'm gonna put it here on the screen. Okay. There is my Cash App information, my Zelle information, and my PayPal information. Okay. So if you can, guys, please do me the favor and help us out to get those transcripts. All right. That would be really great. What? Oh, okay. Mom, maybe you should check. Did you check the plug? Hold on 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Now my mom's microwave is acting up. She said now nothing's heating up. It's on, but nothing's heating up. I tell you, if it's not one thing, it's another. See, we went from a good thing to some shit messing up. Damn it. So, guys, thank you for your donations in advance for the transcripts as well as for me personally and supporting the channel, guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you. All right. So, if you can, um, yeah, T-Bam, if you can, throughout the live now, I'm gonna be working in behind the scenes, so I'm just gonna let the video play, guys, and every so often I'll come back and put your comments on the screen. Okay. Because it's already past lunchtime and we had a late breakfast, so it's okay if we eat now lunch. It's 2:00, 2:30ish. So I'm gonna be in the background dealing in the kitchen while you guys are listening to Trent's live. The name of his channel again is Opinionated News. Opinionated News Network GED level. Let me see if I could. Espérate. I wanna Let me see if I could. Okay. I'm going to copy. All right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to copy. All right, and then I'm going to put his channel up. Copy that. Okay, hey Kayla, Miss Me, Miss Mo. What's up, ladies? James. I still want to interview James. James, you better call me or something. You got my number there. You see my number, right? 347. Well, it's 347-336-9724. Call me. I don't know why there's an error. Let me see what's going on with you, mama. Let me see if it'll tell me. Hold on. Let me check, SK. I'll check real quick. My studio, right? I should go into the studio for it. Okay, give me a second, guys. Where's my members? See all members. Okay, let's see. Membership. Why is hers says 0 days ago? That's weird. Let me check USK. Let me see if you're on the list here. Channel has been deleted. Oh, that was Ty. That had to be Ty. That she got. Oh man, that's why she had to wind up joining the membership again. Bendito. SK. Let's see. I'm looking for SK. All right. Yeah, SK, you're not here on the list. So I don't know why you can't. Maybe it has to do with your card you're using, maybe. Because everything, let me see, it says update perks. Oh, maybe I have to update something. Hold on, guys. Let me see. Oh, let's see. Taylor, your offer to work for you as well as viewers. Okay. All right, everything is fine here. So I don't know why. Yeah, Boston. SK, you might have to just check, mommy. Let me see. Yeah, everything is rolling here. Um, it might be the card you're using or something, baby. Cause everything here, active members. Uh, yeah, mama, you're gonna have to redo it again. Maybe use another source of paying. I don't know, cause you're not on the list. Definitely not there. So it's not like you would be doing it twice. So it's not showing me that you're there. So I don't know, mama. Okay. And by the way, welcome to all the new members. Welcome, welcome. All right. So let me go back one. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm trying to get it to where he started with him. Hold on. I had it set up already, but all right.
Let's see here. All right, we got Don Russell on the topic.
Okay.
What's going on, brother Don?
What's happening, man?
It ain't nothing but we got the people up in here, man. The people that came out to see you and stuff like that. When I put it up, a couple of the ladies, they said that they love you or whatever because you keep it real. So you know, they said they say that's a man right there. He checked somebody. I said, all right, shit. Now he went from Don Russell. Now that's Uncle Don. You understand?
Okay.
But you know, first thing first, you know, the people they already know, but this your first time over here, and I might have a couple of viewers
Okay,
who don't know
Kayla.
who you are. So can you tell the people who you are, sir, please?
Okay, Mama.
Don Russell.
I got you, Eva and Kayla. I'm gonna check now.
I guess for the sake of this show, I'm known as R. Kelly's manager, but I will always stand by it. I'm a consultant, agent, and friend first. We go back 30 plus years. We street performed together. Grew up in the city of Chicago. I went off and did Broadway and got into technology where he went off and chased his dream as the king. It became the king of R&B because of him chasing his dreams. And we stayed connected throughout the years. I'm in California now, businessman. I own a tech company and I'm running a restaurant chain right now. And that's pretty much it. So that's much as needs to be known. but first and foremost, close friend of Rob, real close ally, and I work directly with him now today. And I'm leading the Go team on getting this case adjudicated properly, and hopefully that'll lead to a road that will lead to his freedom.
Okay. How is Robert doing, to the best of your knowledge? I know that you ain't talking to him every day, but to the best of your knowledge, can you tell us how Robert is doing?
Well, I heard from him directly right after court. Was the last time I heard directly from him. His word was he was doing terribly good. And that essentially means he's doing terrible, but he's handling it.
Okay. And what's the best way that us who say that we are advocates and supporters of Robert, what's the best thing that we could do? I had people that follow me exclusively. We mailed in over 500 letters to the judges this week alone. So what is the best way that you see that we can be of assistance to you by proxy, being of assistance to Robert?
Well, that's a good move. I mean, I've been encouraging people. Right now, the contingent of followers that Rob has around the world, they don't have a unified base. The other side went through some extremes to divide us through implanting imposters and just fake operatives, ops as we would call them, into our fray. And now Kale's nation is kind of divided. So whereas we would be able to move in force, sort of like the Beehive, and I always make reference to that, whenever somebody puts out something negative about Beyonce, the Beehive attacks that publication and they get them to take it down. Well, we haven't been able to do that because we haven't been unified. So therefore, our voices are not, rising as high as they should. So I've been going on the talk show, which is why I'm actually doing your show. And I spoke, listen, as much as I have to do to galvanize Rob's supporters, I'm going to do that because he deserves that. He deserves a fair chance and an opportunity to adjudicate his case on his feet and not on his knees, which is what the media wants to see. So that effort, towards, allowing the judge who openly said it out of his own mouth, I don't know who R. Kelly is. He needs to know who he is. This is not an average person. This is a person who has fans around the world. He's touched many people's hearts and lives. And, just as if it was somebody that he idolized, he would want the person that's making the decision on his life, or that's presiding over the decision that, that could end, up being the most important decision of his life. He would want that person to at least know how many hearts and lives that they'll affect by not carefully handling that situation and looking into it from every different angle and all vantage points. So it's a great effort. I think you should continue to do that. I've advised other bloggers and other talk show hosts to actually do the same thing, to go out, and get those letters in the mail and write them directly to the judge. If we can't get our voices in via Rob's defense team, which they haven't been open to taking on anything from supporters. I mean, they listen to the gossip, they'll get involved with that part. But as far as, putting together a strategy and a plan that has been launched, because we've seen the other side in full force. I mean, they've been attacking in full force since this thing began, and those attacks have led to defamation of character, have led to the annihilation of a brand, and most importantly, the exhaustion of a man. I mean, he's exhausted right now. So when is our side going to fight back? When are we going to start pushing back? And I'm sure the world knows collectively Rob has more supporters than one journalist who's led the attack to take him down. I mean, so if you look around the world, Rob's supporters in Africa and in Australia and the UK are waiting for us Americans to do something to mobilize the troops in defense of somebody who gave his all to a craft that we all enjoyed. So writing those letters and letting the judge know we are paying attention to you is important. That judge needs to know that he's going to be held accountable for any wrong move, any unjust judgment, any not being completely practical and unbiased, when those objections are made, which objections are very important, and even motions are important when they're filed. The objections and motions of what, if we have to go into an appeal, that's what Rob will be able to file the appeal based on how objections are posed and motions are filed. And right now, unfortunately, Rob's defense team is not doing a great job at filing motions, and they haven't objected to anything the prosecution has done. So we can't say that the judge is not being unfair. We can't say that the judge is being unfair, but at least if the judge started receiving those letters from Rob's fan base, people, he would know that the world is watching him as well. And that's important. I'm glad you got the information posted right there on the judge's information. And we should have the judge in New York as well. That's very important. Well, that is New York. I'm sorry, in Chicago as well. So the Chicago judge as well as the New York judge, both of them are very equally important.
We have flooded the Chicago judge Harry, I believe it's Harry D. Leinenweber, office is on Dearborn Street. I'm not looking at the address right now, but we have flooded him, and I am, basically at the head of what I'm calling the brand of R. Kelly Boots on Ground initiative. And we are working, man, to see him get exonerated, because I've seen several problems with this. And I'm just a commoner. I haven't gone to school, haven't gone to law school or anything like this. But some of the common problems that I see is that this case stems from the first 2008 case that came about. And in the 2008 case, what the Los Angeles Times alleges as the key witness was Lisa Van Allen, who essentially lied about her age. The time frames did not match, and you just saw an obstruction of justice with the Assistant State's Attorney, Shauna Boyliker, and then you bring this same person that was essentially thrown off the stand in 2008 in 2019 to testify before the grand jury. And typically the grand jury, those things are sealed, but they can be unsealed if you argue that, hey, these guys, they were unethical in the way that they brought about this indictment. And if you could go and argue against that grand jury, then that's grounds for getting the case dismissed right there. And myself, Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, finish.
No, so myself, as well as Marlena, we called the attorneys a few days ago, and we were shut down, and hey, you can't discuss your case openly, but we were bringing different angles, different things to the prosecution. I'm sorry, not the prosecution, but the defense. And they seemed to be uninterested. And I had heard you actually on other platforms talk about how uninterested they were. So could you speak to that, if you will?
Well, I mean, let's just look at some of the things that have happened in the current landscape. You got the lead attorney, which was Michael Avenatti, who he was the spokesman for the destruction of R. Kelly by saying he was going to spend the rest of his life in prison, who's actually spending the rest of his life in prison for defrauding, one of America's top brands in Nike and extorting them. So, I mean, this is it's something as simple as that is just cause for, the defense to push the prosecution to look back into the original complaints that were filed. Because, I mean, the question could have been if he had received the check, would he have went away? And the answer could be possibly yes. He was extorting everybody. So he's someone that's bent law to facilitate a public execution of someone, and he's a noted, criminal himself. He's serving 40 years now. The other thing that I wanted to address that you stated was that you said you were a common man, and let's just look at something, man. All law was written by common men. It was called common law at first. We all could enforce common law upon anyone that was breaking the law, and just because it's fancy words around it right now, anybody with common sense can realize that the laws that are out there now are the same ones that were created years ago. They just put fluff around them to make them feel inferior to something that people like you and me could force be exercised.
Right.
So, I mean, there's nothing that you're doing that someone with a title, lawyer or attorney, it makes no less sense to you than it does to them. You got me all on the same playing field. And if you decide to investigate something, that's no different from them investigating. I mean, and whatever you come out of that with is based on your common sense of how things should go. So you're doing what you're doing is a just service to Rob, because you're taking your time. You're not being paid to do what you do, and you're diving into presenting evidence and information to the attorneys that have chose to adjudicate his case. As far as his current legal team, Rob's words in this past conversation, when I specifically asked him, are you pleased in any capacity with your attorneys? And it was like, what can I do about them?
Well,
and
go ahead.
The answer, what can I do about them, means, Rob, see, people have to start realize just because he's a genius in one area, that doesn't make him great in a lot of areas. It's like me, I can sit down behind a computer and make magic happen, but you put me behind a piano and ain't nothing the hell I can do. I mean, so we always assume that because he was such this great musician and powerful, phenomenon in the world, that simple things like understanding the legal process and that he could actually fire his attorneys. He's so scared right now. He doesn't know that that's within his power and his realm to do. The second thing is he knows that his money is so all over the place, and he hasn't controlled his money in years, but he knows that it's so all over the place. He assumes that when I fire these guys, nobody else is going to want to represent me because that's what they've been telling him. When in fact, he would probably get much better representation if he fired those guys, because there's attorneys all over the world that look at this case and they see the injustice and think about it. If you can go in and take this case, and it's not that hard to turn to change the narrative, but the right attorney taking hold of this case and putting a blanket over it would really change the narrative. But that could lead to him seeing freedom a lot quicker than the guys that he's got adjudicating this case currently. Okay,
and I got kind of two responses to that, because I know that you have mentioned Tom Mesereau, of trying to get him in there, and I've reached out to some people in New York, I reached out to some people in Chicago, and I got a couple of thoughts about this as I was preparing for this topic today. And one of the things that I was told to some good counsel in New York is that you kind of need somebody in Chicago who knows the judges and who knows how to maneuver around those laws that are specific to that area. And one of the names that was mentioned was a Brown and Mayer of who are in Chicago, and they're real good, and they may be able to effectively adjudicate the case. But the second thing that I wanted to talk about was just the income, the type of income generating, things that maybe, we can do, that we can contribute, because when we do these videos have a reach of 10 or 20,000 people. And if those 10 or 20,000 people can donate $20, then we got $200,000, so to say. And that's enough to pay a retainer to get effective legal counsel, because this case is just technically, the case is written wrong. And if you look at the superseding, you could have thrown it out with article, somebody posts article 236 on the screen from the Department of Justice, to where it says that you can't amend an indictment. Off of that alone, the case should have been tossed out. So, can you speak to some of those things that, we can do? Because we have essentially had several campaigns that said that they were in the name of Robert, and these were basically scams. Doing my research, that people need to report to the FBI. So, what can we do starting today? Like, once this live is over, what can we do today as far as, something for Robert to get effective legal counsel? So
well, one. You mentioned Brown and Maynard earlier, and that's I believe that's the law firm that represented him earlier on. And it was a father and son team, and they actually were part of the ecosystem built to steal money from him. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the same law firm. It was Susan Logan on one side of the fence. It was Brown and Mayer that represented Rob, Daryl McDavid, and Joan and Linda, and they all profited off of that. I think Brown and Maynard was that firm. I don't have my notes in front of me, but I believe that they were. But if anybody were to research any of his earlier cases, and that would be, you can do Montina, what's Montina's name? Just if you go to the civil cases that were settled in Illinois, Robert Sylvester Kelly, it'll show the cases that he settled out of Illinois, and I think Brown and Mayer represented him in those cases. So I stay away from those guys. But what Rob lacks is a legal team, and that's what people don't understand. Like when Greenberg took on this case, I keep saying it was the equivalent of like a traffic stop, for running a red light, and when the officer, Greenberg represents, of course, the officer. Typically, in that case, you write a ticket, but until the plates come back, and then when it comes back that this person has just left the bank robbery, triple homicide, and they burned down 3 buildings in the process, then what happens next is that you alert, homicide, you bring in forensics and all of that kind of stuff, and they take over the case from that officer. Well, when Greenberg initially took the case, it was just 4 women out of Chicago that had an issue with Rob, and that was the equivalent of a speeding ticket, because he had beat it, based on these women being a part of the previous case in 2008. But when it escalated to this, trafficking, this Mann Act violation, this racketeering, and RICO, then that means that's out of his ballpark. He should have transitioned this over to a firm that had a legal defense company that had a team that they could surround him with. What I mean by that is, in any legal battle, you not just want somebody that's a good prosecutor, you need somebody who can get on there and perform well in front of the camera, but you need a great researcher. And you also need a great negotiator. I mean, the researcher is the one that's digging up all the evidence on the other side and deposing victims and things of that nature. The litigator is the one that's standing in front making the argument, and the negotiator is the one who deals with prosecution afterwards to say, listen, this is what we're going to stand for, what we're not going to stand for. Let's make a deal. So you need those 3 things on a team, legal defense team, and that's not what Rob has. He's got some gunslinging, showmen who want to be in front of the camera, and if I'm mistaken, neither one of them have a efficiency rating that's better than, my son swinging at the bat for the first time at 3 years old. I mean, so Greenberg was kicked off of Drew Peterson's case because of incompetence, because he didn't pick up the discovery in a timely fashion, and because of his improper filing of motions. And that's exactly the same pattern that he's exercising with R. Kelly. I mean, anybody who files a motion and couples his civil liberties were violated with, oh yeah, he's gonna go live with his 2 girlfriends, you just lose the ability to win the motion based on his civil liberties because of the stupid shit you put in there about him going to live with his 2 girlfriends. So his improperly filing those motions are gonna come back to haunt us in the future. They're gonna prove to haunt us in the future. He hasn't objected to anything. He should be pushing for a mediation. There's so much convolution around this case with all these women, with the multiple jurisdictions, which he should also be pushing to consolidate the cases. There should be one jurisdiction, meaning the New York and the other state cases should be fought in Illinois. One super, and that's where Rob takes in taxes and he lives at. So technically they should have been all pushed to one jurisdiction, and he should have been fighting those cases in all cases in one jurisdiction, not bouncing him all over the place in multiple jurisdictions. So essentially him having, a legal representative that is more important with getting in front of the camera talking about his new office that he's moving in. And that's not a good thing that a lawyer is moving into a new office in the middle of a trial like this. I mean, because that means he wasn't comfortable where he was for some reason, or he felt he needed to grow. Either one of those is not good for Rob. We need somebody that's kind of solid and stable where they are, and they have everything in place to adjudicate this case. You also spoke about what is it that you guys, what can you do? Right. Right now, as far as contributions, don't send anything to anybody. I haven't seen, and neither have we, have to hold people accountable for the money that we spent. Yeah. And if anybody's pleased, which I don't think anybody, and I'm telling you, Rob's not, is pleased with what they're receiving in exchange for what the other side is pushing out there, when it's directly, based on his adjudication, then send money. Yeah. But if no one's pleased and I'm not pleased, I mean, I don't see anything that makes any fucking sense. We haven't gotten any charges dismissed. I mean, it's still the same amount of charges that existed in the beginning. They talk about this research. Okay, well then do a press conference and state that, we're starting to bring in with anything. I've talked to too many people that are character witnesses against Rob that have known him, and even close family members, and they haven't even been contacted by his defense team. I mean, I think the last time that the judge, which was about a month ago, they had just recently picked up the discovery. I mean, so let's stop ignoring these white boys looking decent in suits and could talk that language and hold these mugs accountable for what they're not doing. They are serving up another king of our nation, and we're sitting back because they look good in the suit, and they claim that they're lawyers and justice of the peace, and we're letting them do it, and we're not holding them accountable. And that's not right now. I think this man's life is in the peril because of, him making decisions that led to mismanagement of his own funds, his career, but he gave the death out to us what he promised, and that was hits. Right. So right now he needs us to do what we can to help him. I mean, and that is, don't send any money, boycott anything that has anything to do with it, save the money. The opportunity will present itself when we feel comfortable. Don't just send it because he needs a lawyer, because Rob needs excellent. Not only does he need excellent lawyers right now, he needs investigators. There's a lot of, when you think about the previous case that he adjudicated, there was a lot of research and investigative work done in that case. Well, it should be actually used to assist in this up and coming case. I mean, have you, the old investigator that pulled together everything, I spoke to him. He has not been contacted. And if you're constantly saying that these are old cases, that's every time Greenberg gets up and speaks, he said, these are old cases that were brought back up. Well, why haven't you contacted the old investigator? He already deposed and won. Why haven't you contacted his old attorney? Well, he's got one of them, which I brought him in, Jeff Steinbeck, but the other guy, Gleason is sick, of course, right now, but Junior, I forgot his name. Why hasn't he been contacted? These guys fought it and won, so you should at least have their strategy and their research in your back pocket to get rid of Johanna Pace, to get rid of Heather Williams. All these women that are saying that Rob, wronged them in some capacity, which to me he didn't. They fucking groupies and they were fanatics. They got backstage, and when he left, that's when they got mad, which typically happens.
Right.
But the old research that was done proves that part. That's one less thing you got to fight. They're not doing anything. Sam Adams Jr., that's right. They're not doing anything to show that we have momentum right now. Correct. There's no momentum. It's like we seeing the Titanic just go fucking down. Ain't nobody with no damn buckets throwing water over the side. Ain't nobody trying to patch the hole up. Correct. It's just going down. And unfortunately, when we first started, the hole was about this big. Now it's the size of a goddamn SUV. So, and the guys at the helm think that they're doing a good job. They not. We would feel better if they were. We would be saying something completely different. Like, people would be saying, you know what? He's actually doing a good job. That was a great motion he found. I think that should help.
Right.
No, right now, his motions are not reaching any sensitivity of any judge that's up there, because you can't tell a judge that's got any kids that, or a wife or anything, that I'm going to let this man go home to two of his girlfriends and he's 55 years old. That's stupid as fuck. I'm sorry. Dumb, and dumber. So that's the issue that I have right there. But for anybody to put gas in that car, that's just a waste of money.
Correct.
That's giving yourself a reason to be frustrated tomorrow when another motion is filed and he says, oh, yeah, Rob needs to go home because he hasn't had a massage in 6 weeks and he's thinking about making another Sex Me album. That's just dumb. You don't say stupid shit like that. But he's shown us that that's what he's capable of doing. So why continue to support that? Hold on to the money. If you're going to put it in the savings, put it somewhere so when the time comes that you feel good about who's representing him, you can send that money into that person.
Right. And Greenberg is his lawyer right now. However, Doug Anton had a fund, allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly. And from this, we have never received a profit statement. None of the funds are earmarked. So if you are on this stream right now, you listening to the playback, I'm going to say, do not contribute to that fund because the money should have been earmarked for a fund that's been going on for a year. None of the funds were earmarked. And also we have, go ahead, Don.
There should be, on any site that you're contributing to, there should be a marker there. Every time somebody makes a contribution, you should say XYZ dollars raised towards the R. Kelly Fund. And you should also get a receipt that is a charitable contribution, which means you can file it against your taxes. If you don't see that marker and you haven't received the receipt, chances are some bullshit. That means there's money going someplace that they don't want to have any record of where it came from. So when they take it, you ain't filing it and they ain't filing it. These are things that anybody that should know send the money in. If you're not getting that receipt that you paid that money in, that you can file against your taxes as a charitable donation, and there's no marker to say 600,000, 500,000. We don't know how much fucking money that we raised on that campaign. I mean, all you thinking is your $20 or your $300 been sent in, but he could have raised $5 million fucking dollars right now. Who knows what the number is? He ain't giving us no accounting of what it is. Tell him, you know what? If he raised it on GoFundMe, tell him to turn that page around and let us see what exactly was raised. Right. It don't make sense why people contribute and don't know how much money they pulled together to raise for this man's defense, and that's foolish as hell to me.
And also, there was a problem with that fund with the email addresses being changed, and so send me that link for the FBI because we need to do an investigation into the person. Her name is something Smith. I'm going to put it on the screen right here. I received it. Jocelyn Manicia Smith. So Jocelyn Manicia, and as far as it's concerned right now, his counsel is ineffective, but this is his counsel that we have. And so what we have done, my people, we have done the investigating from a street standpoint. You know, I got over 300 of emails with proof of things that we have gotten. And what I want people to do is, if you have the information, email it to me. I'm going to print it off and I'm going to send it over to Greenberg. This is public information. I'm going to send it over to him certified. That way we have receipt that he has it. So in case the worst thing in the world happens, that he gets a conviction, then we do have receipt that it was ineffective counsel, because we're going to catalog it and
send it to the judge too.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I heard is that as a private citizen, you can't, send information or something like that to the judge.
What you can do is, like anybody, don't send one straight document. Anybody sending in can tell about their experience with certain things. So you can say, as a fan of R. Kelly, I know Jahan Pace or whoever, and I know her to be a person that is manipulated doing this, or I was at an event one day. You can send them your personal experience. Now, if you have some evidence, of course, that should be turned over to Greenberg, but that is a good idea. Send it so that you do know, but also keep a copy of it, because I do believe Rob is going to get a better defense team. I think right now, and I've been telling this to the small team that we have, that's where, and I didn't mean to cut you off. Were you saying something else?
Hey, man, I'm Trent, man, but go ahead, because the floor is yours, man. I don't, when you come, I ask you come on the platform, this is your time to talk.
Yeah, I think that he will get a better team. We do have we're working on a plan right now, and I do think that it's a plan to bring all of his fans together globally, and the final stop will be, of course, the United States, because we have to realize the machine that we're up against right now, and the machine that we're up against is tearing anything down, and that means Me Too, that means the media outlets. Jim DeRogatis and those guys who control it, we're up against a powerful machine. So right now, you don't fight, you can't throw stones, at a tank and think you're going to hurt it. So what we're doing is we're throwing, I advise to keep throwing the stones, but only as a distraction. Keep them busy. We're working on something else right now that we're going to flank their asses with shortly. Okay. So save all of that, the major support and munitions and stuff like that for this move that we're making. And you'll know that it's right, because, our plan is when we come, you've got foreign countries and diplomats and people from around the world saying, listen, we want justice and we ain't gonna stand for nothing but, and it's a gazillion strong, then it's hard to ignore that. And that's what the plan is, because we see right now in this country, they have an agenda. And I don't care how many of us show up, they have an agenda. And they're going to keep pushing their agenda and ignoring our pleas and our calls and our beckonings and everything that we're doing, because they have an agenda. You know what I mean? And their agenda, as part of their agenda, is to bring down, Robert Sylvester Kelly as a man and kill his brand, R. Kelly. So it's okay. Keep it going. It's coming. This COVID-19, when things like this happen, and there's a lot of bureaucracy and bullshit that's surrounding this epidemic. Right. Everybody's all over the place with trying to understand where it came from and any of that kind of stuff. But there are those of us who takes this kind of time and we use it to get ahead. So this is a pause. Think about it. In every instance, you got to look at the ones who have the good karma. You got Weinstein, who'd been sentenced, Epstein, who'd been and then you got this new one, what's the Avenatti, who's been sentenced. Rob case keeps getting pushed back. So that's the universe's way of providing us with the time we need to mount, a strong contingent of fans to come in and stand behind him and force this adjudication to be balanced versus the way it is right now. It's just a continuous attack of him. And anybody who goes forward that tries to, say anything nice, I don't care if you're a celebrity or one of his fans, they attack you. And they got operatives at every level. Down at the bottom, they got the Dana Jays, and up at the top, they got the Jim DeRogatises. I mean, so we have to really be strategic in how we come back against this munition who's actually come up to take him out.
Mm-hmm. And also, everybody who's within the sound of my voice.
Yo, you see how he just threw in Dana? Like, Dana's at the bottom and Jim DeRogatis is at the top. And these are the people that are trying to take him out. What? No wonder why Dana hates his ass so much. Oh, Lord. I'm in the background, guys. I'm moving around in my kitchen, like I said. So I'm listening, and I just came back to sit real quick, and I'm going to post some of your comments. His Lordship, you said Aaron Hall admitted stuff and never got in trouble. He bragged about what he did with one underage girl. R. Kelly is not Stevie Wonder. They would have done him in first if that was the case. Hey, Jade Stone, welcome, mamita, welcome. Hey, fat boy, what's up, papi? What's up, Lordship? Dana Kel's godson, he better chill. Well, he corrected himself, and he was honest, and he said, I am not the godson. That's somebody else that's claiming that. I am not claiming to be his godson. Dana J was honest. I said, holy shit, it's going to fucking snow. That's what I thought. I said, damn, I woke up today and it's cloudy and gray. See? So, I love you, Dana. He was honest. And that's a good thing. Maybe he can, change a little bit for the better, bro. You don't know. So I just can't believe. Now I see why he hates him so much. They had beef. Dana was right, though. Dana had a feeling about Don. He knew Don was a fucking con. Just trying to jump in where he fit in. That's basically what Don did. Don jumped in where he fit in. He felt like he could fit in because he does know R. Kelly. His family does know R. Kelly. He does know R. Kelly from before R. Kelly was R. Kelly and stuff like that. And he did, have contact with him, and then they got out of touch for quite a few years. And then once he found out that R. Kelly was in trouble again, he felt like he needed to stop what he was doing and go rescue him. And in the process of him trying to rescue him, he landed himself in jail. Now, Don is out on he's out on bond right now. So he's not in prison. He is out on bond. And he's fighting these two cases. Like the one I was talking about today is from the Southern District of New York. And then he has another one that's coming up in the Eastern District of New York. So he has two cases going on. And they're both more or less for the same thing. So I don't know, I'm a little confused as to what is what. So eventually I will go back into the New York information and double check what that's about and compare it with the notes from the Southern District of New York. Because I think they're basically charging him with the same thing. It's just weird. So, all right, let's continue with this interview. Great interview, by the way, Trent. I did post the link to Opinionated News Network channel. So if you guys get a chance, go subscribe to his channel. Thank you. How old is Don? Don is in his 40s or 50s, I believe, as well. The judge know that they are brain dead fans. I mean, they really are. I mean, at this point, they're just crazy. That's just what it is.
It's dipped in chocolate has written it right here. I need everybody to go into here for all of these Illinois attorneys. This is the IARDC, and this is where you go and report unethical claims. You report the misconduct of these Chicago lawyers. The Chicago lawyers are Kimberly Michelle Fox. She passed the bar on November the 6th, 1997. You can Google where her office address is. Adrian Marie Cruel. She passed the bar on November the 8th, 2001. Also, we have Abigail Lynn Peluso, 11/8/2007. And then we have Janice Williams Appleton, 11/6/2008. On the playback, we are about 47 minutes, 15 seconds in. go back to get these names. Please go to this link right here and report the ethical violations that you have seen, such as Kim Fox appearing in Surviving R. Kelly, Part 3 after Lanita Carter. That's highly prejudicial, breaking Rule 8.4, Section G of the American Bar Association. I'm sorry, ABCD. I think that she passed on E, but F and G, she definitely violated that. Rule 5.5, mild jurisdictional practice. How did Michael Avenatti represent people before the grand jury, and he did not have jurisdiction within the domain of Illinois. Rule 3.1, which is meritorious claims as well. And so we need to report these ethical violations that we have seen. Also, in the 2008 case, you had assistant state's attorney who is now a judge who was funneling people over to Susan Logan's, somebody who did a 94 ad within the Chicago Tribune and bragged about how she would get on planes to go back and forth to California just to get her haircut, how she owned 3 houses, spent 4 days a week in Chicago and 3 days a week in Florida, where she owns 75 horses. But somebody who is basically a journeyman, or somebody who basically eat what they kill. How do you have, owning horses? That's something that typically is aligned with residual income and passive income, meaning that you're making money while you're sleeping. And so we need to go and report these things, as how we have prosecutors in the state of Illinois who are funneling witnesses in Lanita Carter, who had a history of every guy who she's been with in a 20-year time span. She has some type of claim against them, some type of child support against them. She says that Robert sexually assaulted, sexually abused her, but we see that she was working with the Lifespan legal team, who represents battered and abused women. Her husband, Terrell Carter, I believe that's his name. Terrell. No, I'm gonna get back to y'all, but his last name was Carter, definitely. And she was going through that thing with saying her husband was abusive, filed as an indignant person in that case. In her divorce settlement, allegedly received a settlement unbeknownst to Robert 10 months later, but still filed as an indignant person, meaning that she was receiving Section 8 financial aid, meaning that you had to be below 125% of the poverty threshold. Meaning at that time, the poverty threshold was $18,400. So if you receive a $650,000 settlement, you pay your lawyer 35 to 40. You pay your lawyer between 30 and 40%. That's 35. Let's just be fair. And then you pay another 35% because in Illinois, the tax statute is if you make over $312, you're taxed at a 35% rate. So she would have been left with $195,000, give or take 10,000 either way. How do you file as an indignant person when you are 11 times above the poverty threshold? And this is stuff that we need to bring out of why somebody like this in this case. Okay,
right.
To talk about how.
Hey, listen,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, we need.
I have to pause you, man. I just got goosebumps, man. Hey, listen, Rob would be so proud to know that somebody's taking this kind of energy and putting into, digging deep, man. I mean, you're not being paid to do this. You are the true pinnacle of what, a loyal fan and someone that.
I just want to say something real quick in defense of Trent. All right. At this point, when Trent did this interview, he was real gung-ho for R. Kelly, and, he did see some injustices, and he still feels a little bit that, there is some stuff that is injustice the way they did him. But now he doesn't feel that R. Kelly's totally innocent. So he feels like he's a little innocent on some parts, and but he feels that he's guilty now. He really took a step back and really looked at everything. And being that Trent actually read the paperwork, and you could see that Trent is not a groupie fan. He's a fan, but he's not a groupie fan. you know, he took a step back and he looked at everything and was like, damn, this dude did everything here. All right, maybe this happened and that happened. Maybe that might be a little exaggerated, but nah, dude did wrong, you know. So now he has a different outlook. So just to let everybody know that in defense of him. All right, let's continue.
That, you know, that cares about, you know, and the injustices that are going on in this country. So man, you know, I'm going to make sure I mention to him, man, that there's some people out there, man, that's better than lawyers, and he got a whole bunch of them on his team, starting with you, my brother. I really appreciate what you're doing.
Hey, Tombella.
And I do believe that what you're doing will move some mountains when this whole thing is said and done, because that is stuff that any attorney should be consulting with you, because you may have, I mean, I don't care about 99% of the stuff that you say, it may be stuff that they know, but the 1% that you're saying that should make the difference in this case is what they need to know. So opening the doors up to guys like you is something I would be just like me right now if I was them on a group chat or YouTube live with somebody every week just to find out those things that I'm missing, because you guys are piecing this case together far more better than his attorneys are. So man, listen, I applaud you for that.
But well, I found several problems. Like I said, I got 40 documents, every motion. I'm going to go through every motion. And if I have to myself, I will go through and I will write every damn fucking motion that they need for them and make sure that they have it, because this is a black man, and an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. So we have essentially a New York indictment that comes down to 3 people. Deronda, somebody we just gonna call her Dolores, as that's her middle name.
Ariel is one of them.
Okay, yeah, Dolores is her middle name. You know, I don't even want to speak of her. And then we have Faith, you know, Faith Rogers.
Faith Rogers.
And one of the allegations on Faith Rogers is that he gave her drugs and alcohol. He's grown ass man; he can drink if he want to. He ain't tell her to go and get no alcohol. She also has a marijuana charge in Breckshore County of San Antonio, Texas. And so that shows that she was already smoking weed a long time before they ever came around. And there is nothing in the discovery that says that this is a hard crime. You got a bunch of circumstantial shit. Or when you're dealing with people who
Oh my God, what's wrong with her smoking weed? Oh man, this was funny. I like the shit they were coming up with and saying was bananas. Absolutely bananas. But Trent tried. He tried. I give him an E for effort. He tried.
Does 100,000 venues 2 to 3 times a week is circumstantial, and it's actually highly common. So that's the discovery of her. Then you can't. How do you prove a herpes accusation? You can't prove that type of stuff, man. You got Geronda Pace.
Exactly, Jay.
Geronda Pace has been on Facebook. I lied to him. Surviving R. Kelly. I lied to him. To her own admission, I was done dealing with him. I lied to get into the courtroom 2008. Probation. She was on probation at the time. Came back 2009, was gone till 2010, 2012, Bloomingdale, Illinois. Fake ID, fraudulent possession of a fake ID. I had sent this over to the attorneys yesterday. This is why I say he has ineffective counsel, because I'm just a nigga with common sense and Google. I shouldn't know more shit than the lawyer. They getting paid.
Right.
If nothing else, they skimming off of the Survivor or Kelly fund or the dollar for the king, or whatever y'all want to call it. I should not have more information than the attorney. You know, me.
Well, you know, and just what you said alone, that's something, man, because the state case in Illinois should be gone.
Yeah.
It should be gone, because right there you just read off information that they would use to muddy. I mean, like when when I was first started working with Rob, he was getting these people that were suing him. Everybody knew that all you had to do was prove that you was in the room. Send a lawsuit in, and they would settle out of court. The lawyers would get their cut, and the victim, the alleged victim would get a cut. But Rob would never knew. Rob settled 16 cases that I pointed out to him that he never even went into a mediation with, that he wasn't at the deposements or anything. 16 cases against people who worked for him that filed that his lawyer settled out of court because they had power of attorney. So like you said, with all this stuff that people are pulling up, if you take the state case alone, which was swing momentum, and what we were representing, Rob, the state case was something, it was a civil case. All they had to do was, it was a contract. And if anybody understands how law works, as long as you don't agree to that contract, because the UCC code 1-308 protects any civilian from a contract, from a corporation being able to put you under a contract without your express written consent. So all I had to do was file the UCC 1-308. I do not consent to contract, all rights reserved, sign it and send it back to them. And those cases would have went away. That's what happened with Faith Rogers. We found the first case in New York. We got the case. We sent it back with some of the evidence to show that he did not force her to do anything. We didn't consent to the contract. We sent it back. It got dismissed. It was brought up first by, I forgot her name, was a female lawyer. Then Avenatti grabbed hold to it. The lady, Alvarez or whatever, and then Avenatti.
Lisa Alvarez, that's
Gloria.
Alvarez's daughter.
No, Gloria.
Gloria.
Was it Gloria?
Well,
Gloria, right, her.
She got a daughter named Lisa Alvarez. It's Lisa something.
Yeah, so it was brought up several times, but if you go back and do the research, the first case was pushed out of court, and they wrote a document on it that we signed it in blood or some stupid shit. No, that was this thumbprint, which is what seals any document. That's a signature. We sent it back to the courts, and they dismissed it. It was when Greenberg started taking on his cases that everything started sticking. He started going to jail. But the state case in Chicago should have already been thrown out of court based on just what you just said alone. You go in there, you present that evidence to the judge, you get that thrown out. That swings momentum. That brings momentum back. And you keep knocking off the smaller cases, left one at a time, it brings back momentum. Now, the only other thing that makes any sense to me is if they're trying to muddy the water. Meaning, you keep all these cases involved, you put all these liars in front of the jury, and the jury gets so, throughout this deliberation, they get so tired of hearing these alphas, it becomes a hung jury. Maybe that's what they're planning to do. But even still, they haven't done anything to swing momentum back in Rob's possession, because the state case in Illinois should be done. If you want to muddy the water in the federal case, that's one thing, but the state case, get rid of that. We don't even need that to still exist on his jacket right now.
Right. Well, and we've had.
You said throw it out. It don't even need to exist.
Endless stories. So this is a multifaceted approach. We got to take a layered approach here. And I know that you said, you told me privately that you had, several income generating things. One of the things that I was thinking about is that these people have basically, stolen his music. He said he doesn't own his music. Well, he even though he's older, he still sings in key, and vocally he's better after the 2011 throat surgery than I believe he was in the early 90s. Why don't we take the first approach? The first step is getting him out. Step two, can he re-record all of his old music so now he owns his masters, put that under a new publishing company, resell those CDs, and we go out and we buy those CDs. That way we could get around these these campaigns, so to say, of where's the money going. If we could get him on bail and he could re-release maybe 12 play or something, and we could all go out and do that.
Well, that's a strategy, but let me make sense of that. The reason that's not possible, it's not that he doesn't own his master. Rob has every last one of his masters in his warehouse. What he doesn't own is his publishing. And his publishing means anything that he puts out under our.
Okay, again, for the people who do not understand, please understand this. Please pay attention to what Don Russell is about to say. For those in the back, way in the back, please pay attention to what he's about to say right now, okay? I'm going to rewind a little bit. Listen to what he has to say about his property, about his music, okay? Please pay attention. Take notes if you have to. Record it if you want to. I don't give a shit. Just make sure you listen, okay? All right.
Is involved. You put all these liars in front of the jury, and the jury gets so, throughout this deliberation, they get so tired of hearing these alphas, it becomes a hung jury. Maybe that's what they're planning to do. But even still, they haven't done anything to swing momentum back in Rob's possession, because the state case in Illinois should be done. If you want muddy the water in the federal case, that's one thing, but the state case, get rid of that. We don't even need that to still exist on his jacket right now.
Right. Well, and we have heard the stories and endless stories. So this is a multifaceted approach. We got to take a layered approach here. And I know that you said, you told me privately that you had, several income generating things. One of the things that I was thinking about is that these people have basically, stolen his music. He said he doesn't own his music. Well, he even though he's older, he still sings in key, and vocally he's better after the 2011 throat surgery than I believe he was in the early 90s. Why don't we take the first approach? The first step is getting him out. Step two, can he re-record all of his old music so now he owns his masters, put that under a new publishing company, resell those CDs, and we go out and we buy those CDs. That way we could get around these these campaigns, so to say, of where's the money going. If we could get him on bail, he could re-release maybe 12 play or something, and we could all go out and do that.
Well, that's a strategy, but let me make sense of that. The reason that's not possible, it's not that he doesn't own his master. Rob has every last one of his masters in his warehouse. What he doesn't own is his publishing, and his publishing means anything that he puts out under R. Kelly has to go the money has to be divided a certain way based on, and Rob signed away some of his publishing, not unknowingly, to reel in money for his first trial, to bring in money. He didn't know that he did that. It was a 300-page contract that they read to him, and they said, well, this is what this means, this is what this means. When in actuality, he shouldn't have never had to do that, because he had toured enough to have money set aside and enough intellectual property and merchandise to pay for that. That's the money that they were stealing.
Hey, Tanya.
So he can't re-release 12 play under R. Kelly, because technically he's got about 4 more years. He'll get it all back anyway. He'll get 50% of his publishing back, because that's a law that was written into any royalty situation where after a certain amount of time, the artist gets 50% of anything that they sold off, they get 50% of it all back. So he's falling within that time frame where he's about to get that back anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, but Rob got 4 or 5 albums that was not released. He got the 2 albums that he finished for Sony that they were supposed to release, but they dropped them beforehand. And being that Sony dropped him, we're planning to launch those records. We've got other stuff, blues records, cartoons, a whole bunch of things that he pulled together, and that's what we're pulling together right now. So we have a plan for that. We just had to get his consent first. Now that we have consent to move forward with certain things, we're going to do that.
How is it that we can buy how could we do a pre-sale or pre-order? Because I'll buy 10 of them today if we could do it.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this personally. When it is, and you guys will know that it's authentic and it's for Rob because of the way we're designing it. Before it hits, we're gonna go public, and then I'll personally call every blog show that I've been on and let you guys know to support. I mean, you'll know what it's called. I can release the name now, because we've secured the name, but it's Kels Nation. So just be ready for Kels Nation. It's coming soon.
Okay.
And I don't mean the Facebook pages, I mean .com.
Okay.
KelsNation.com. Let me look it up.
Is there any way that, in light of maybe, because I think that the way that you do something effectively is we have people who say that they are supporters, and you don't support in words and YouTube views, but you support in deeds and actions and putting your dollar behind you. So what is it that we could do today to put some money behind this? Because I believe you either put up or shut up. How can we contribute so that we could get him an effective defense, like immediately, you know what I'm saying, or pretty quickly, where is it that we can contribute to? What is it that we can do? And if you ain't got the answer right now, then we could work on how to get.
This I don't have an answer for that, but something that I would like to see happen is the bloggers to have a union. I think you guys should somehow unionize. I think it's going to be important that you unionize. I think one day what you guys doing is an intellectual property that people are really going to be intrigued with because you control a lot of numbers. I mean, seriously, you guys control so many numbers globally, not just locally, globally. So if you guys began to unionize, you could be the force that really makes a play.
Robin.
You, Texas Diamond, you, Neek at Night, you know, my guys in Chicago, DJ Tyson and Dr. Daboski. You guys all unionize and come up with certain rules of engagement. So when you guys want to attack, you know, and maybe you elect somebody president of the union, whatever. But whenever you want to go after a specific subject, you guys can be the balance that the world needs. That's what's important right now, creating balance for that media onslaught that whoever they're going to target next is going to need it. They're going to need to be able to call, if they can call the YouTube Streets Union and say, listen, fellas, they're coming after me. I need to move in force because Chicago Tribune is putting out all these fake articles and you guys can unionize all of the rest of the bloggers and them numbers y'all control and attack Chicago Sun-Times. And I don't mean in any harmful way. I mean, if they push, you push back.
It's so funny how Don Russell was trying to come in and be a muscle. Don the muscle. Russell. Russell the tap dancing muscle. What the fuck? He was coming in here like, let me tell y'all something. Y'all gotta get it together. Y'all get it together. Y'all can be strong. A force to be reckoned with. Raw. Get together. Y'all get together and bash all these girls and attack the judges and the lawyers. And he said, my boys from Chicago, you know, DJ and Boski, the Boski. Ave Maria.
So that's something I think that you can do right now. One is being patient because you got to move when it's right and it's got to be strategic. But the other one is unionizing. You may control 20,000 numbers, but if you can make a call over to Daboski, if you can make a call over to DJ Tyson, you can make a call over to whomever, say, listen, this is something that's plaguing our community. We need to come together and I don't care what you individually talk about in your point of views when you're on your shows, but we are all pushing the same agenda and the same thing. And if we need to tell our people XYZ, we controlling the street mob. I mean, and that's literally what you guys, I think, will be a big move if you take the next couple of weeks and you guys reach out across the board and just the bloggers without they fan base behind them and start unionizing. And you know what I'm saying? And whenever there's a universal message, you all guys know to attack it. That is something that's big. That would be huge.
And we doing that quietly behind the scenes. What I'm going to propose right here on this live is we go ahead and just make this I-55 connection. Hollywood next, DJ Tyson, Daboski. Hollywood, you from St. Louis. Daboski, DJ, y'all from Chicago. Take I-55 to get there. We just call this I-55. Phases and Dr. Rogers, y'all like the aunties and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So
we are family.
Into action starting today. I'm gonna start with it. And quietly, I have talked to Daboski just a few hours ago. Prima Donna, she pregnant right now. We want to give her time to let her go through that process. And once she get through that, if she ready to get back on it, then we'll make that happen when she's ready for it. But let her have her pregnancy and stuff in peace. But yeah, we're gonna come together. We're gonna be a unified unit because if we all are reaching out and we doing 10 to 15,000 views per day, once we do that and everybody,
the unionization that never happened. Woo! Listen, I just want to make a quick announcement. For anyone who is in this chat right now, you got a wrench. Please do me a favor. Content creators, please throw your channel links up so people can subscribe to your channel. His Lordship, please, if anyone in here needs any intros or outros for your videos, for your YouTube channel, please reach out to His Lordship. He did mine. I'm pretty sure y'all like mine, right? All right. So I did the outro, though. I liked my outro. I'm going to see if I could get you to do me an outro, Lordship. I don't know how I want to do it, but yeah, I'm going to see if you can hook me up with one, too. But the outro, I think I'm going to do it for 1 minute. All right. So let me know if you have any ideas. All right. Hit me up on the DMs, Lordship. All right, and tell me if you have any ideas for a 1 minute. If I do a 1 minute video, I want Cardi B music. Okay, so if there's a way that you can figure it out, bro, you already know. Okay. Sometimes being small in numbers makes a big impact. Thank you, honey. You're absolutely right. Look at us over here. We small but mighty, okay? Too many people trying to be chiefs and not enough Indians to unify. Facts, girl. T-Bam. That's how I be feeling, girl. Yes, this is the problem with that side. That's the problem with that side. You see, over here, we know there's only one chief, and that's Larry. Larry is the head of OCOV. But me, Truth, Atmos, Kel's Tears, we are all individuals of our own. But we also run with OCOV. We are together as a unit. But we all have our own individualities. But there's only one chief. And that's Larry. And we don't fucking get that shit confused. Like, we don't give a fuck. That's his shit. That's Larry's shit. We ain't trying to run none of that. That's Larry's shit. He's the one that came up with this whole idea of naming us a team on YouTube. You know, they got Dream Team, they got Kel's Nation and all these things, you know. So he figured he'd make us a team too. At first we were Team Truth. But that went down the hole when all that mess happened with Angelo. We scrapped that. He didn't want to be bothered with us. We weren't going to be bothered with him, with his business. So it was better to just separate. Separate that. That's how it started. Separate it. Then Larry came up with OCOV, and we all dug it. We love it. OCOV is one color, one voice, and that's what we are. We are a mixed group. Okay, we're all different types of walks of life. We're all different types of nationalities, religions, faiths. Okay, and we're all one color, one voice. We stand one voice, and that's with the victims. So I believe that was an awesome name. So we are OCOV all day over here. Okay? Just wanted to say that we are small but mighty. We make noise. We don't have to make big noise. We don't have to do the grand shit that they do. All we have to do is be truthful, give out the facts, the information as we learn it, and they just don't like it because they don't want to hear it. The truth, a lot of times, we all know, is a hard pill to swallow. So if you can't handle the truth, that's when people start bugging out and they want to start cursing out your children and giving you death threats and all this outrageousness. Yeah, no. So let me continue with the rest of this interview, guys. And I'm going to go back in the background and I'm going to make my own little lunch real quick, okay? So I'm going to go back on mute.
Do what they good at. I'm good at.
People XYZ, we controlling the street mob. I mean, and that's literally what you guys, I think, will be a big move if you take the next couple of weeks, and you guys reach out across the board and
Hey,
get some
honey.
bloggers without they fan base behind them and start unionizing. And you know what I'm saying? And whenever there's a universal message, you all guys know to attack it. That is something that's big. That would be huge.
And we doing that quietly behind the scenes. What I'm going to propose right here on this live is we go ahead and just make this I-55 connection. Hollywood next, DJ Tyson, Deboski. Hollywood, you from St. Louis. Deboski, DJ, y'all from Chicago. Take I-55 to get there. We just call this I-55. Phases and Dr. Rogers, y'all like the aunties and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go ahead. We're going to put that into action starting today. I'm going to start with it. And, quietly, I have talked to Deboski just a few hours ago. Prima Donna, she pregnant right now. We want to give her time to, let her go through that process. And, once she get through that, if she
love you, T.
on it, then we'll make that happen when she's ready for it.
James is always starting drama.
But yeah, we're gonna come together. We're gonna be a unified unit because if we all are reaching out and we're doing 10 to 15,000 views per day. Once we do that and everybody do what they good at, I'm good at this technical piece. I can't do what Deboski and DJ do, and I have told both of them that privately, you know what I'm saying? So I call them if it's something that needs to be done or whatever, if they need to corral the forces, then those are my guys, and then, hey, Phases, you got the biggest reach. I know that you in here somewhere, so if it's something that you got or something that I could be of assistance with, then, reach out to me and get all my information and I'll make that happen. But, I'm working for one common goal, which is the vindication and exoneration of Robert Sylvester Kelly, who was unjustly charged, who they have torn and defamed him. And once he is exonerated and vindicated, I do want to continue on this because I think that he needs to bring a case for lost wages and revenue against the city of Chicago, who has had $7 million in payouts for their misdeeds in last month. And so we need to really go in and we need to tear down that system of corruption that has plagued Chicago since the 1920s with Al Capone and through the 1960s, through the 70s. We need to break that cycle of corruption in that city. And the only thing that people respect is when you take their money. So we need to figure out a way that we could basically do a civil disruption. You know what I mean? We got to figure out how to do something civilly. I'm not encouraging people to break the law, but we do need to figure out how we can do this as a unified force to cause a civil disruption so that we can begin to change this. Because with this case, they are coming and they swinging and they throwing everything that they got. But what we are going to be effective in doing is changing case law. And we're going to stay on their neck because what Greenberg lacks is testicular fortitude, which is a fancy way of saying he ain't got no nuts. So the first time that he came up against them and he brought up Kim Fox and they didn't do nothing, he ran and he tucked his tail between his legs. You got to keep on knocking and keep on banging at that door till somebody listens. And what he needs is an attack dog for an attorney. Go and get Weinstein lawyer. Shit, somebody go and summons Johnny Cochran from the dead. Goddamn it! Shit, we need something to happen so that we can get this ball rolling. But like I say, I'm passionate about this, and I want to know, and if what he's worried about is the money, I will be on the fundraising, whatever we got to do. But these people, they not for him, and you have said that on several platforms, and in me reaching out, I said, Don wasn't lying, and that's when I had to reach out to you because I said, shit, that he got some sense. So, but the floor is yours.
All right, man. Well, listen, I appreciate you, man. It's once again, I don't speak for Rob, but I know if he were aware or sitting in this seat, he would appreciate what you guys are doing as well, because I do believe that that time will come. And as long as you guys are ready for that moment when it comes, man, you're gonna be able to do a lot. I've seen it. I've seen small things, a lot of small things move mountains. I mean, so continue to do what you're doing, man. Anytime you need me to call in and give y'all some insight on how you're doing or whatever, it's fine. I'm gonna keep you informed of of things that we're doing on this side of the fence when those platforms are going to be dropping. That Kales Nation can go register and be a part of it. There's an organization forming right now called Justice for All Americans that I've heard about that will be coming on board to depose these so-called accusers and stuff like that and put some of their business out in the streets. So there's so many different things that I feel.
You see what he said? The nerve. He said, we need to get the information of these accusers and put all the information out there in the streets. What the? This is why you're locked up. This is why you're going to jail. You're not winning your case because you wanted to come out here and be Don the Muscle. You put your 2 cents where it ain't even belong. And look at you now. And thank you guys for those who donated for the transcripts. Thank you very much. We are now up to $200, guys. Okay? Like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? I hope the feds are watching this. I hope yous are watching this, feds. I hope y'all watching this. Because this is another interview he did. Lord have mercy. So he put the victim info in the street and harassed them. Exactly. That's what he was trying to do, mommy. Trying to come out here on YouTube to have all these bloggers go at these girls. And that's exactly what they started doing. You know, until they realized they had to slow it down. I mean, they still go out and do what they do and say what they say, you know, but it's not as bad as it was in the beginning. Okay? Exactly. Yes, transcripts. We're up to 200, mamita. 200. We got it. We going. We going, guys. We going. When I get paid in a couple of weeks, I'll put some more into it too. Espérate. All right, guys. Let me continue this crazy ass interview. Trent, by the way, yo, kudos to you, yo. Good job, Trent. Good job. Even though, you know, your mind was a little screwy back then, but yeah, no. We still were able to listen to you because we knew you weren't really a groupie. You know, you're a supporter. You were a supporter. We kind of felt your vibe. Yeah, no.
That
you know, and
right.
You have said that on several platforms, and in me reaching out, I said Don wasn't lying, you know, and that's when I had to reach out to you because I said, shit, that he got some sense. So, you know, but the floor is yours.
You're welcome, Tanya.
I appreciate you, man. You know, it's you know, once again, you know, I don't speak for Rob, but I know if he were aware or sitting in this seat, he would appreciate what you guys are doing as well, because I do believe that that time will come. And as long as you guys are ready for that moment when it comes, man, you're gonna be able to do a lot. I've seen it. I've seen small things, a lot of small things move mountains. I mean, so continue to do what you're doing, man. Anytime you need me to call in and give y'all some insight on how you're doing or whatever, it's fine. I'm gonna keep you informed of things that we're doing on this side of the fence when those platforms are going to be dropping. That Kales Nation can go register and be a part of it. There's an organization forming right now called Justice for All Americans that I've heard about that will be coming on board to depose these so-called accusers and stuff like that and put some of their business out in the streets. So there's so many different things that I feel that Rob is the one that's strong enough to wake up, you know, certain movements, to start certain movements, to do things that have not been done before, because people are passionate about him. He'll have a lot of babies was made off of him. And that's part of his problem, unfortunately. It's like, you know, right now, I keep saying the world is in this mode where they're trying to decrease population. They're putting out bad water, bad food, the air is bad. Every damn thing that we take is bad and it's killing us. You know, now we got a corona epidemic killing thousands by the day. You know, when you turn to the music and movie industry, the music industry, you know, Rob Music, every time he drops an album, 1 million babies are born. So I mean, he's against the global agenda right now, which is decreasing the population. So you got to look at that, and that lets you know the size of the machine that we're fighting against, and why so many media keeps attacking him on a daily basis. I mean, so you know, we have to be just as equally strategic in our pushback. You know, we have to get like we were years ago when we had the underground tunnels to freedom, and we have to kind of form that again right now, because if we don't, whoever they choose to next, they're gonna come after them and take them down, and we won't have anything in place to fight or push back. You know, we'll continue to lose in our great ones. You know, the ones that a lot of them help write this country's, you know, the reason people want to come to this country, and they still in their culture. They're still in their culture and kicking them into the trash can, like, you know, they didn't contribute to the world that people want to be a part of, which is America. I mean, so what you're doing is a great service, man. You're a patron of justice, and that's good. And I think people with that heart and that mindset will continue to serve in certain areas that are vital today, you know, to uphold, you know, the fabric that we all enjoy every day. And that's that free will to be able to do things like this, to listen to the kind of music we want, to put our kids in whatever school we want to. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Whenever I can call in, I don't have a problem with doing that. You down in St. Louis, right? Missouri?
Yeah, St. Louis, yep.
Yeah, well, I know you got listeners all over. Listen, Rob Love, I think that was one of the last, we went to Missouri about 1.5 years ago. We had a great time at that little cigar shop down. I forgot where it was, but we had a lot of great people. I mean, right now today, people from that tour are calling, you know, asking how do we support the mission, you know, and everything, man. So St. Louis is a great place, man. We appreciate you calling in, and as long as we got more St. Louis, folk like yourself, man, we'll be fine.
Yeah, man.
So, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I'll be doing best. Well, I got something that I want to say is that, hey, we don't want to, and I'm speaking to the people, we don't want to do anything that can be considered harassment. But if you have any information on these victims, we want to start a hashtag Kills Justice, and we want you to post the information that you have on these accusers, you know,
right,
under the hashtag of Kills Justice right now.
Let me say another thing that people need to focus on, because even Greenberg alluded to this the other day when he was on Court TV, which is he's up against racketeering, and this is the most uncommon way that they've used that law to come after a person.
Right.
The racketeering charge will have nothing to do with the Johanna Paces and the Faith Rogers of the world. The racketeering, the RICO, and the trafficking charge, I think it's trafficking, racketeering, RICO, and Mann Act. Those charges will specifically come from Rob's inner circle, and that is Linda Mintz, Joan Sullivan, Daryl McDavid, Barry Hankerson, DJ Phantom, Diane Sullivan, Artie, don't remember his last name. Yeah, right. Frank Gaston. Who am I missing? I said Joan and Linda, yeah. Daryl McDavid, even Wayne Williams. Those are the people that have, and June Brown. Right, June Brown, Milton Brown. Those are the people that have turned over information and created this hostile environment where people in Rob's own camp were pissed off at him, and they overlooked and turned their cheek on a lot of malicious activity that was taking place so that they could steal. The best way to steal something is to keep the shit messy. When you keep it messy, can't nobody see where the books are. It's not organized, so you can't see what things are supposed to be sitting. I'm sorry, and I forgot the name, two of the most notorious one, John Holder and James Mason.
Okay. Yeah.
So those are names of people that we need people to dig up, because those are the ones that are the witnesses behind the racketeering. See, the girls are smoke and mirrors.
Right.
But the names that I just mentioned are the people that have turned in evidence or certain things to make people feel that Rob instructed them he was the mastermind of a criminal operation.
Now, for those in the back watching and listening, you see what he's telling you there? He just name dropped the whole enterprise. Everyone who was labeled on the squid, on the octopus. Everybody that was labeled on the octopus plus some. He just name dropped everybody. All those people were part of the enterprise. That is why he had a RICO charge. Now, Don is not part of that enterprise in the sense of employment. He was part of the enterprise in sense of the entourage, security. Because remember, in the RICO, they talked about managers, bodyguards, entourage, employees, right? All those people were part of the enterprise. Those people made up RSK Enterprise. Like he said, Don just said, R. Kelly was just the head of the organization. Now, in the racketeering charge, they charged him with being an enterprise. They had to prove that R. Kelly was an enterprise. And they did that. That's why he was charged with racketeering. And then they had to prove predicate acts, which was the kidnapping, bribery, and the Mann Acts, the transportation, the coercion, the enticement of minors. And all they had to do was prove two. So let's continue to listen to Don.
Charge, I think, it's trafficking, racketeering, RICO, and Mann Act. Those charges will specifically come from Rob's inner circle, and that is Linda Mintz, Joan Sullivan, Daryl McDavid, Barry Hankerson, DJ Phantom, Diane Sullivan, Artie, don't remember his last name. Yeah, right. Frank Gaston. Who am I missing? I said Joan and Linda. Yeah. Daryl McDavid, even Wayne Williams. Those are the people that have. And June Brown. Right. June Brown. Milton Brown. Those are the people that have turned over information and created this hostile environment where people in Rob's own camp were pissed off at him, and they overlooked and turned their cheek on a lot of malicious activity that was taking place so that they could steal. The best way to steal something is to keep the shit messy. When you keep it messy, can't nobody see where the books are. It's not organized, so you can't see what things are supposed to be sitting. I'm sorry, and I forgot the name two of the most notorious one, John Holder and James Mason.
Okay. Yeah.
So those are names of people that we need people to dig up, because those are the ones that are the witnesses behind the racketeering. See, that the girls are smoke and mirrors.
Right. But
the names that I just mentioned are the people that have turned in evidence of certain things to make people feel that Rob instructed them he was the mastermind of a criminal operation, which is impossible. Right. I mean, have you ever seen this guy in the studio and shit? The way he played basketball, smoked cigars, and ate food, he had very little time for that other shit. So, and as many hits as he got, you know what I mean? Not just his hits, but hell, he got hits for every damn body. Right. So those names need to be dug into, because those are the people that had malicious intent, but also motive to make it seem as if he was heading a criminal operation. Was the money that's missing, $900 million that's been missing from his bank accounts? Those are the ones that stole it. And I think I didn't say Sharon Logan, Jim DeRogatis, Sharon Logan, Jim DeRogatis, Brown and Maynard. All those folks are responsible for stealing this money from him and building and planting these landmines in the road that's now exploding in his face, which was the moment he learned that all this thievery and shit was happening.
Okay. And also, you know, I got a board right here too.
I think I said Cheryl Mack. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're gonna get past that. Okay. Thank you for writing this right here. So we got, you know, is Kevin Giles?
No, not George Kelly. Take that down, Uncle Bug. It's June. It's June, Milton Brown. I said June, but it's Milton Brown. John Holder. Yep, those are the names. Courtney. Yep. So, Kelly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is Kevin Giles in there because we see a Johngelin allegedly?
Kevin Giles was his. Kevin Giles is an ally. He's an ally, but you can put Kevin. He had nothing to do with the takedown. He's actually somebody that we're using to pull the story of what everybody did to him. He's an ally. Okay,
ally. Okay. All right. Then we got James Mason, and that's how we get Joycelyn there. Okay. And as far as with Jim DeRogatis, what happened?
You forgot Daryl Johnson too. James Mason brought in Daryl Johnson, the last publicist that he had, crisis manager. Who lied and said he was Bill Cosby's guy.
Okay. Now, what did he do to Jim? I call him Jim DeRogatis. What he do to Jim DeRogatis? You know, we want to know.
Jim DeRogatis he came with Barry Hankerson years ago. He used to do a lot of good reporting on Rob. But when Rob fired Jim DeRogatis, when Rob fired Barry Hankerson used Jim DeRogatis to put out those first tapes against Rob.
Okay.
Jim DeRogatis was a writer for the Rolling Stones. That's where he started. He wrote an article. He wrote a book called How to Kill Your Idol. But he also did an article on one of these famous rock bands, and the lead singer killed himself behind that, and they kicked his ass up out of New York. If anybody saw the movie Hurricane Carter with Denzel Washington, there was a police officer by the name of Della Pesca. And throughout the Hurricane's entire career, Della Pesca was this ruthless fucking, police officer who was, of course, prejudiced, who destroyed his career. What Della Pesca represents the same thing that Jim DeRogatis does for Rob. Same thing.
Okay, and because one of the things I noticed about Jim DeRogatis is that none of these, no major news platform was actually gonna print any of these lying ass accusers before they went to Jim DeRogatis on July 17, 2017. Like nobody wanted to report this, which is a major oversight. And then we had TMZ that know that this is bullshit, and because they still talk to Joycelyn, and they still will print Joycelyn's stories favorably, which lets me know that they know something. But why is it that no major news platform will really pick them up before BuzzFeed, which is a Jim DeRogatis site? And also, I think it's the Blast, which I think that they're affiliated with BuzzFeed somehow. And this guy by the name of Ryan Newman, where anything that happens in this case, they make sure that they print it negatively and untruthfully. So, could you kind of give me, I know you don't got a straight answer, but could you just give me your best speculation on why nobody was picking this up before BuzzFeed?
Well, it's two things. One, BuzzFeed was one, but the Chicago Tribune is another one. Jim DeRogatis works for the Chicago Tribune, and his wife is the head editor there. So you got to realize how these papers work. You have these papers work in the capacity that when you put something on the wire and it comes from a trusted source, all the rest of them run with it. So if you use the Daily Beast, which is somewhat of a trusted source, but if you use the Chicago Sun Tribune and the Tribune puts something on the wire, the other publications run with it. And that's all Jim DeRogatis has done. A lot of folks are not really doing the research, but because it came from the Chicago Tribune, it must be official. So that's what they're doing, and he's abusing his journalistic moral compass, for his own personal selfish endeavors right now. And of course, the universe will get back at him for that later on. But some people ask some questions about a few names within inside Rob's camp, and this is what I'll say. Anybody that's not directly, testifying against him that I know for a fact, everybody in this camp stole from him. But certain people in this camp did not lead to what's going on with him today. And, the names that were just asked about, I think Will was one of them, and then his Uncle Bug. They stole money. All of them did that shit. But none of them are participating with the other side to hang him. They're not doing anything to help him either, which I don't like that shit. But, they're going to have to deal with that on their own. But they ain't doing nothing to hang him.
Okay. Now, are you guys looking into criminally Attorney Gerald Griggs? Because to me, you had Tim Savage is basically
mine too.
Just a common country ass nigga for real. And then once he gets with
what's up, Ronnie?
Griggs, then all of a sudden it goes from R. Kelly to Robert Sylvester Kelly, which is very cunning because now you have separated the star from the man. And so with him, he essentially went on the men's locker room with Pastor Jamal Bryant and ran you through the process of how you take something where there was no crime and essentially make it a crime. So if somebody can look up the unethical complaints line for Georgia for me and put that in the chat, I appreciate it because we need to write in on him too. But could you answer to, if y'all looking at Gerald Griggs anyway?
They made complaints on everybody.
No, Attorney Gerald Griggs, he was on the men's locker room, and essentially what he did was go through the process of how when Tim Savage came into his office, that there was no crime concerning his daughter there, and then they went and made it a crime. So are y'all looking at him?
Right. Yeah, but you know what? That's the low hanging fruit that really that's easy to win. I do not consent to contract 1-308. Send it back, all rights reserved with a signature on it. You can get rid of those. If he had lawyers that gave a shit, that would be real simple to get rid of those civil cases. So I don't want people to waste time on the small stuff. If we focus on the federal cases, then and doing what we can to, and Tim Savage is a knuckle. He's going to end up in jail by the end of this, and so is Azrael's father. I wouldn't pay any much attention. And they done broke so many laws in this shit, it doesn't make any sense. Part of the reason the prosecution is pushing back is because they're so interwoven into the bullshit that it's hard to take them out of it. You know what I'm saying? So, but that racketeering is not stemming from Tim Savage or Angelo Carey. And I don't want people to continue to focus on these smoke and mirrors. Tim Savage, Angelo Clary, they're idiots. Their cases hold no fucking weight. And that's not what's going to send Rob to jail. What could send Rob to jail is if we don't focus on the federal case and this racketeering, this violation of the Mann Act, and this RICO. And that is from the names that I just mentioned to you. Those people are the ones that we have to prove motive. Like Daryl McDavid represented Sinbad, and he stole money from him. Of course, he did the same shit to Rob. All those things is what we need to focus on and start gathering that intel. So when the proper legal team is assembled, that intel can be pushed on, from the head of the bloggers committee or the unionized bloggers committee. You can deliver in one, all you guys can deliver envelopes to the defense team that will aid Rob in adjudicating racketeering. Let's not worry about, these young ladies that's accused, because everybody and their mama got dirt on them. So he's not going to jail for that. Okay. What he could possibly judge these people that were inside who stole all that money. And when it was found out by him that they stole, he went after them, and they started lying to Homeland Security about him. That's what you need to focus on.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
Don was speaking the truth about that racketeering. It's all because of Homeland Security and his employers.
I don't even want to ask you this shit, but people want to know if you are in the indictment.
Hell no. I wouldn't be able to be talking to you if I was in the indictment.
There you go.
No, absolutely.
Anybody who you see talking, they are not in the indictment, because all these people who are threatening oh, I'm gonna go and tell this on Rob, I'm gonna go and threaten this. Look, when you go to the feds, you either tell everything or you tell nothing at all. You can't say, oh, I'm gonna give you this amount of information this day and I'm gonna go and give you a little bit more later. Either you gonna go and tell the feds everything or you not telling them anything at all. They don't
Well, let me say this. I've been knowing Rob, since we were kids, but I didn't start working for Rob for a little over 2 years ago. Everything that they bring up against him has been done before then. I came in to unravel the bullshit, not to add to it. I mean, it was like I rolled up my sleeves and put my shit on hold because of what he was going through. And he said, Don, I need your help. My career's in the toilet. These people are, doing this. They stealing it. This. I don't trust no damn body. I was a familiar face from his childhood that was successful in his own right. And that's how I got into this. But it wasn't that I worked with him in any of these capacities in the past. And the reason a lot of people don't like me is because I was finding out they bullshit. I was finding out how they were stealing. I mean, so, that is what that is. But, so no, I'm not. The feds already took my phone. They cracked into my Gmail accounts and all that shit, and when they saw that I just came on board, it was like, well, we can't put him in any of that other shit. But the biggest thing is if they were to read anything that I was sending to him, it was uncovering the chaos that has existed in his career since day one.
Okay. Now, it was allegedly said at the last bail hearing that he needs to hire a private investigator to uncover some of the stuff of which they had found, which, under the Brady rule and Brady doctrine, they're ethically bound to turn that over via Brady. And so, have you heard that? Did you understand that? Because at this point, it's just conjecture. But have you heard the same or similar things?
No, well, anything in regards to Rob's case, I've kind of turned my energies off on because I realized that one, he's got some idiots who's going to allow anything to happen, any and everything to happen to him. Two, they don't give a shit to hear anything I got to say. So let me focus on something that I know I can be effective in, and that's raising him the capital that he needs to, when the time comes, gets the attorney that he deserves. And so he can fight this thing on the street. So I haven't paid attention to, I stopped going to court when he started letting anybody show up and walk in there with him. It's like, I don't want to be seen amongst certain people, period. In the earlier days, hell, he was getting out of my car. I was right there standing next to him in every instance. But, certain things around revolving the theater of court, which is nothing but a circus show, and he's paid attention to that. I can't give you any insight on that because I'm not paying attention. My focus right now is to get this money. Get him this money that he needs to adjudicate his case properly.
Okay.
And get the investigators that he needs to go out here and really dig deep and use some of that, that Inspector Gadget, spy technology that me and you ain't got access to.
Right.
So that's what we need. Right.
Now, in me doing his research on him, I studied everything about him from MGM all the way up into present day. Shit, I even got this Lena McLean's book right here because
wow,
I research everything. So
wow.
One of the things that I've noticed is that when Jive dismantled about 2011, and then they rolled into RCA, which was basically under the umbrella of Sony, then it doesn't seem like he was getting the same promotional push. And basically, they had shelved him. And one of the things that I heard you say on another platform is that he had gotten too big for a label. So, can you kind of speak to that a little bit or go in further detail on that, please?
Well, that was the Rolling Stones. I did an interview with the Rolling Stones magazine. That's where I said that. And that was when we were separated from the label. Rob had 2 records he owed them. They decided to drop them. With some money on the table that was owed, they decided to forgive that as well. But when you think about an artist of Rob's magnitude, we had movies he had wrote. I got books he wrote. I got some child movies and cartoons and some gym shoes he created. He's like a content fulfillment machine. So I'm like, Rob, the deal that you have only caters to your music abilities. We need to be with a company that can put out your movies, your books, you can be like a content fulfillment center, meaning anybody who needs, you know, a movie done, a play written, a book, whatever, they can send it in, and we can train the next generation up on how to create as if you have. Teach them some of your tactics and methodologies. So we had already decided to cut, you know, the stepping away from RCA was a good thing for both companies because they don't have those other elements to push things, and then the amount of money he was losing with them just didn't add up. So, and it was just so convoluted. I mean, everybody was dipping into his world. When we looked into his portal with Universal and with RCA, the Sony portal, everybody, I mean, they had 5 different RSK enterprises set up, and everybody was getting the cut of it, and his cut was like so small, it was stupid. The performance and mechanical royalties. And RCA didn't give a shit about, I'm sorry, let me retract that. It's not their position to care about what's happening when they hit the enter button with a person's money, period. So I said, you know, we started putting together a platform that we would use to put out his future material that he would, you know, and we got inspired by that through what Chance is doing and a few other artists. Prince was the first one actually did it, who put out that website and launched an album under Symbol. But we got inspired. We said, you know, let's do this one, put out this platform that you can launch your music on, but also future artists can come in and launch their brand and their music on too, and not get ripped off the same way you did. So that was essentially what we were building at the time when shit hit the fan, should I say. So yeah, so he was real passionate about no one else going through what he went through. And we had actually just bought a building, which is why he walked away from the studio. And the building sits in Chicago on the west side, and it's 48,000 square feet. We were going to build his content fulfillment center there. I mean, he had the next generation of artists. He was going to train them up and teach them his recording techniques and production techniques and things of that nature. And that's what we were gearing up for his next go around. So we was moving out of the realm of making the music be his number one thing and finna put him behind the scenes. And that's what he really wanted to do anyway.
Okay. Can you speak about his affinity for his children? You know, in doing my research on him, I got to study everything. I noticed that his daughter, his middle child, she's good, you know, as far as where the music that she's putting out and stuff like that, you know. So he speak on kind of what he
you know what, there's certain lines that I don't cross in talking about family, which is why I pushed away from George and those guys that are family. I don't want to dive into that. You know what I mean? That's personal. So that his family business is that. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Let's answer some questions. Can y'all post my number in the chat room? We want to remain respectful at all times. How much time do we got left with you, Mr. Russell?
Man, I'm about to give y'all about 5 more minutes and I got a break, man. My girl tripping. I've been neglecting her for the last month.
Hey, I sure understand that. So, well, I used to understand that when I had an assistant.
Huh?
I said I know what you're talking about. I used to go through that same thing when I had an assistant. Look, y'all can call in if y'all got a question for Mr. Russell. He's only gonna be on for about 5 more minutes, y'all. So we need a good question for anybody that want to call in. The number is right there on the screen.
He sure did take.
Hey,
he has a different perception now.
Opinionated News Network. This is your host, Trent. You got a question for Mr. Russell?
No, I just got to state there right quick. I'm the one that put the question in to ask Tell Don Russell to clear up that he's not in the indictment. And the reason why I kept repeating that is because last night on the other side show.
Well, let me the
story that they're going to change the narrative.
Ma'am, we answered that question already. Ma'am, we already answered that question.
I don't even want to hear that part. That's a Dana J night. That's somebody from Dana J. Just cut that off.
Don Russell, Kip, and the blogger.
Yeah, good luck with that.
All
right, whatever.
403. Here we go, right here. Look. All right, look. How you doing? You on Opinionated? You got a question?
What's up, Candy?
Hello?
Yeah. Turn down your background. You got a question for Don Russ?
I want to know if Joyson is living by herself.
That's his personal business. We asked him about a question for Mr. Russell. We're gonna move on to the next call. How you doing? This is Opinionated. What's your question for Mr. Russell?
Really, I don't have a question. I just want to let him know, and you, it was a nice live, and everything he's saying is on point. It's my side, and we all got to get together. We got to do this. Mob, y'all get a whole nother, not the mob, but the bloggers, y'all get y'all inbox emails together and work together. People gonna disagree, but y'all work it out. You don't need to be all. Everybody needs to know all when y'all disagree. Y'all work that out. That's all I wanted to say. Y'all doing y'all thing, and let's get this. Chaos Nation down 100.
All right. Right.
And think about the next thing.
Okay. All right. You going or you got time for one more?
Let's do one more.
Okay. Give me one more good one. If it's on some gossip, then I'm gonna hang up. How you doing? You live on Opinionated with co-host Don Russell. What's your question, caller?
Yeah, this Omar. But yeah, I noticed that the main thing that's really a big challenge is that they're damaging his public image. And as far as the jurors are concerned, potential jurors, the public image is very important. So do you have any, this is for Don, do you have any plans rolling forward to help his public image, like some type of media blitz or anything?
Yeah, that's what the whole thing that we're working on now overseas. And the reason I stress overseas is because the machine that here is so powerful, it takes so much to overcome it, that we've got to get those numbers up. And we can't get the numbers up locally. So we got to go over there where he's got a strong contingent of fans in Africa, UK, Australia, China. Well, I'm sorry, I mean China right now. But he's got fans there too. But anyway, we got to pull those guys so when we do come into the United States, the gang that's coming with us to support the narrative that we want to push for him is strong. So that's it. But this is a time when we're building that contingent right now. And that's also why I'm coming on these shows to galvanize his local supporters through the bloggers and asking them to mobilize and unionize together. So when we do arrive with that contingent of fans, the bloggers are the first one to step up and say, listen, we the ground troops, we're going to march it in. And now we got air support and everything else. So it is going to take a global effort. And I think more people can stand behind the mission if they can't stand behind the man. The mission is powerful. We cannot continue to let the media publicly execute our celebrities and our icons and our stars and our brothers, to be frank. So that's something that we are working on right now.
Okay. All right.
That was a good point.
Thanks, caller, for calling in. All right, Mr. Russell, we know that you got to get out of here.
Yeah, man.
So I appreciate you for coming on, man, for accepting my call first, returning my call, because I ain't nobody. But I appreciate you for coming on to the platform and giving me almost 2 hours of your time. You certainly didn't have to do it. If you need an advocate, for the brand of R. Kelly down here in St. Louis, I'm your guy. So don't hesitate to reach out to me, man. Anytime that you want to come back on the platform, man, you are welcome.
I appreciate you, brother. And I had fun. This is a great one. This is really a good one. I think it's gonna move mountains.
Oh yeah, the playback on this is gonna be amazing. So man, can y'all please show Mr. Russell some love for coming on, please? And I appreciate you, man. I like to say for accepting the call and coming on, man. And we gonna work and do what we got to do to get that legal counsel up out of here. So thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Take it easy, man. All right.
Sir. All right.
So that was the Trent and Don Russell interview. And this interview was done in, let's see. Where does it show usually? It usually shows what it was put in. Oh, maybe show more. Well, it says 2 years ago. So this interview was done 2 years ago. It doesn't say specific day. It got 7,000 views. So it did very well. And you know, Don Russell at this point in time, he didn't know he was indicted. He didn't know because they had the indictment already ready in 2018. And a little bit after R. Kelly was charged, then Don Russell was charged. So, yeah. Let me show you the Kells Nation page. I found it. Let's check it out. Okay. So this is the Kells Nation page. So you can join a fan club and you can also buy products. It says Kells, ALKI, the Kells Boys starring Apollo, Friends and Family, Public Apology, and God is Apologies of a Thug, Friends and Family. So I think these are the songs. Public Apology and God is Apologies of a Thug. It says Kells, King Kells, aka Apollo. And then it says Kells Boys starring Apollo and Religion, and King Kells, aka Apollo, Friends and Family. So let me go in. Let's see. So it says here on the top, it says album. All right. So these are, I guess, albums that you can buy. There's one here that says Party Tonight Agains by Robert Kelly, and it says it's $10. Then here has another one. It says not available, not available, not available. Then it has Party Tonight, $100. This says not available. These other things here. Then over here says an album new Robert Kelly, $20. Let me see what it is. Let's see. And it's from Indie Build Company. It says the Indie Build Community. Choose file. Oh, no. All right. I don't know why it's doing that, but okay. So, and then it says video. So this is a video of a launch event and dance steps. Let's see. Can I make this big? Wait. Oh, no. This is going to be that small. It says coming Independence Day 7/4/2020. Let me see. Kells Nation, the unseen true story of R. Kelly. Independence Day. And then here's one with the dance steps. And it's just showing a globe going around. Okay. And it has merchandise. Let's see. So it has a t-shirt here for $100 and it says Robert Kelly. So, live auction, main auction of the week. $5,000 is the highest bid. The Essential, Robert Kelly, starting price $20 a bid. Then we got something here, but it's not showing here for 300. Then it has something else here. Looks like a poster or something for $5,000, but your starting bid is 50. Another memorabilia of R. Kelly for starting price $600. You can bid at 10. And then it's supposed to have a leather dark brown baseball. That's not there. So let's see. All right. So now, let's see. So you can join the fan club. This is Kelly Vision. It says Kelzar, the story of Apollo and religion. Watch now. Let's see what happens. Join Pro to watch. 20% off if you sign up today. Official docuseries, King Kel's Uncut. Here says something really great happened. 12th vinyl. Starting price is at $299. Highest bid is $399. Again, it's the same album here, and it says something really great happened. So I don't. So this is the page. Join fan club. Let's see what happens when I join fan club. Let's see. Join fan club. Can I join the fan club? Oh, it's not letting me join a fan club. So this kelsnation.com. This is the page. This is what you get from it. Ooh-wee. So that was that. Let's see. If the celebrities and icons are guilty of crimes, they should be punished. Yes, they should. Hey, Nettie Boo, what's up, mama? April 4th of 2020. Oh, that's the date of the video? Okay, and he was indicted. Was it 2019 or 2020? I don't even remember. Can I please hear something other than they lied, they stole his money, the music industry did it, the dogs ate my homework? Really? He wasn't convicted of any of this. Right. Rockin', no proof of evidence. It's a bunch of he say, she say, and victim blaming. Facts. Damien says they are crazy as hell. The Essential R. Kelly album on the website starting at $299, or you can go to Walmart.com and buy it for $35.96. Scammers. Word up, Damien. Okay. Probably outdated, no longer functional. Exactly, TBM. That's what I'm thinking too. All the stolen stuff, right? Yes, Diva, that was the date on the Don video. Okay. So that video that we just watched, TBM just confirmed that it was April 4th of 2020. So it came out 2 years ago in April. So like I said, guys, we're going to continue. I'm going to do the chronicles of Don Russell and R. Kelly for the this week. His pretrial conference is July 15th, and that's in the Southern District of New York. That's in New York City. And then his trial starts on the 18th. So for this week, I want to try to get all that paperwork out of the way. And I will see if I can get at least 2 readers to read those real long pages with me. So also remember that if you guys want to donate for the transcripts for the August trial for the Chicago federal case in the Northern District of Illinois, we are collecting funds to buy the transcripts of the trial like we did in New York. So far, we are at $200. Thank you guys today for those who donated to the fund. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. And another thing, when I do get the transcripts for those that did donate, and if you want the transcripts, you guys, once I do get them, I will expect you guys who do want them to email me so I can send you guys a copy of the transcripts, okay? Because you guys helped pay for it, and you guys, it's your paperwork too, okay? Just wanted to remind you guys about that as well. So guys, while you are here, please do not forget, you can donate to my Zelle. My Zelle information is 347. Let me fix it. Let me put it this way so it doesn't scroll. All right. So guys, if you want to donate to me, you can donate to me. Come on in. Oh, that was my daughter, my son. If you want to donate to the transcript fund or to me, if you're going to donate for the transcript fund, please make sure that you put a notation saying that it's for the transcripts. Okay. And it's for me. If it's for me, say it's for me. Okay. So I don't get confused and I can take the transcript money separated from the donations that you guys give to the channel. Okay. So far, we're at $200. I take out. The number is 347-664-9253. The information is right here on your screen. I also take Cash App. It's $ Diva Divine Light. And you can also PayPal me. It's paypal.me/Diva Divine Light. Okay. So thank you so much, guys, for hanging out for me this afternoon. Maybe later on, I will come back. It is Friday. It is still early. Depending on what Larry does, I think he wanted to continue the summitation from the trial of the Eastern District of New York. He was reading the summutation from the prosecutors and their closing arguments. So that's basically what it was. It was their closing arguments. And he was reading that off. So I'm pretty sure he's going to continue today. I don't want to mess up his flow. I don't know what time he's going to do that. So let's see if I can come back maybe a little bit later after dinner. Like I said, I'm not sure what time Larry will come on. If not, I'll come on late if I'm up and alive. Y'all know already. All right. So for you guys who are just coming in and you are going to watch the replay, leave your comments in the comment section below in the video. Please make sure it's respectful so that the comments can stay if you are on the other side and your opinions are different from ours. Thank you. Please make sure you hit the like button. Thank you very mucho. Hey, The Truth. What's up, Shirley? What's up, Truth? What's up, sissies? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? So, yes. And for those of you who are in this chat right now and you are content creators and you have channels and you do content, please drop your links now. That's why I give wrenches so that people will be able to drop their channel links so that they can drop their content. All right. Drop your YouTube channels in the chat now so everyone can follow you, please, and thank you. And guys, don't forget to hit that like button on your way out, please. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and you hit the notification bell. Make sure you put it on all so everything that I do will come through to your notification. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. And your girl, Diva Divine Light, y'all already know I am out. Peace.